Louisville as we get ready for the 2026 Winter Cup. Several familiar faces will compete for spots on the national team and for a spot on the mixed team at the American Cup. Competition gets underway next. We are excited to start. Welcome to the Kentucky International Convention Center for the 2026 Men's Senior Winter Cup. Let's listen in to our PA announcer, Dan Mowdy, for march-in of these amazing athletes. Christian Marsh, the man, the myth, the legend, the legendary commentator, first meet in at USA Gymnastics, and I feel like we're having a great time.
I think we're killing it personally. I don't think I'm biased in saying that either. I mean, to hear you call me the man, the myth, the legend as I sit next to the man who won an Olympic medal in the same year that he also won an NCAA title is, humbling, truly.
Hey, Christian, we're just here for a good time. Christian, 2026 Winter Cup Senior National Championships on YouTube with a live chat. Tell me, what would you be doing if you weren't commentating right now?
Well, first of all, I'd be watching, regardless, and trying to make someone listen to me talk about gymnastics anyways. But I would definitely be in the chat, and I'm not saying that just to promote because I want to interact with the chat. But, I mean, asking gymnastics questions and having real-life feedback would be nice.
Awesome. Well, hey, let's get ready for these amazing athletes. Let's listen in to our PA announcer, Dan Mowdy.
Senior men, they're all here in Louisville from all around the nation, contending for apparatus medals, vying to earn an all-around title, and striving to end the weekend as a member of this year's Team USA. Competing in the 2026 USA Gymnastics Winter Cup. Starting off on floor, University of Oklahoma's Sasha Boganosiuk, University of Illinois' Garrett Schooley, University of Oklahoma's Fonzie Mattis, University of Oklahoma's Nathan Roman, University of Illinois' Tate Costa, and University of Illinois' Preston Nye. Starting out on Pommel horse, Ohio State University's Parker Thaxton, Ohio State University's David Ramirez, 5280 gymnastics, Yul Moldauer, Ohio State University's Drake Andrews, Ohio State University's Jesse Lee Pekeli, and Ohio State University's Christian Grahovsky. Starting off on rings, for Evo, Danila Lakin. For Evo, Hunter Simpson. For Evo, Joshua Carnes. For Evo, Lincoln Dubin. For Evo, Jackson Harrison. For U.S. Naval Academy, Brian Solomon. And for Evo, Shane Wiskus. Starting out on vault, for University of Michigan, Fred Richard. For Penn State University, Landon Simpson. For University of Michigan, Carson Eshelman. For University of Michigan, Crew Bowl. For University of Michigan, Charlie Larson. And for University of Michigan, Aronson Mansberger. Starting out on parallel bars, for Stanford University, Kieran Mandava. For Stanford University, Kai Uemura. For Stanford University, Jean Ewai. For Stanford University, Cooper Kim. For Stanford University, Aaron Chetri. For Stanford University, Zach Green. For Stanford University, Riley Luce. And for Stanford University, David Shama. And starting off on high bar, for Gymnastics USA, Ori Riley. For Salto, Maxime Khan. For University of Nebraska-Lincoln, Alexandru Netachi. For University of Nebraska-Lincoln, Max Auden. For University of Nebraska-Lincoln, Taylor Christopoulos. For University of Nebraska-Lincoln, Christopher Heiser. And for Salto, Anthony Rushinsky. These are the senior men competing in the 2026 Winter Cup. At this time, we invite you to please rise if you're able, remove your hats, and direct your attention to our nation's colors for the playing of our national anthem. Thank you. Gymnasts may now prepare for competition in the 2026 Winter Cup for senior men.
To succeed in gymnastics, it takes strength, determination, dedication, and it takes you. The USA Gymnastics Foundation raises funds to empower athletes at all levels and disciplines of our sport and to enrich communities for all-around success. Give to the USA Gymnastics Foundation today because their success starts with you.
Back to the 2026 Senior Men Winter Cup here in Louisville, Kentucky. I am joined by an incredible co-host for this evening, myself, and is joined with Christian Marsh. Christian, are you excited for today's competition?
Oh, I'm beyond excited. I think there's going to be a really tight meet, and that I would not be surprised if there were 5 different athletes who could walk away with the title tonight. And so, and especially the fact that it's a one-day competition now,
sure.
Right? We are in it for every 10th, every rotation, the highest stakes possible. This is for a spot on the national team.
Christian, we just listened to the national anthem. I'm going to be honest, it was the second time that we listened to it today. My hands got a little less clammy, but I think it just got a little bit more real for me. Because like you said, the stakes are higher than ever. It's a spot on the national team. It's a one-day event. Some good guys could have their best meet ever. Some good guys that are maybe locks, maybe shoe-ins in some mind, have a bad meet, and they're out.
Oh, of course. You can't take anything for granted in a sport like gymnastics, and especially with the way the horse has been behaving today. She has not been cooperating with any of the athletes all day thus far. So hopefully the senior athletes can put their enhanced skill, experience, and tame the horse just a little bit more than we've seen earlier.
I like to hear that. Christian, we've got so many different stories. I think the immediate 2 that come to mind, though, are people that we know, that we've grown up with, that we've seen competing for our entire careers. Shane Wiskus is back, and Joel Moldauer are back. In my opinion, those are in my 2 top gunners for the all-around title tonight.
I'm not going to disagree with you, although I will express some surprise at Fred's name not being up there for you, a fellow Michigan Wolverine.
You know what? That's got to be the biggest slight I could have possibly had. God, I'm going to eat that one for lunch. No, definitely true. Definitely true. I think there is, maybe I was more just thinking about the story and the return. I think absolutely. I think Fred puts together 6 for 6 today. He's got a chance at the all-around title. To be 100% candid, I'm not sure how much Fred values right now his all-around title. I know that he's pushing difficulty on certain events, and right now pushing his difficulty as high as possible to be ready for 2028 is Fred's vision right now. I think other massive storylines. This is going to be a re-ranking event. We've got athletes that aren't here, but are also going to be having a chance to compete for that mixed team cup at the American Cup. Tell me a little bit about the mixed team cup.
Yeah, it's
for everything that you know about it.
Yeah, right. Which is not as much as I would love to, but it's a new event in that we say mixed because it'll be the men's athletes and women athletes competing together for their nation in an attempt to take home another medal. Right, it's another medal opportunity. There'll be a mix of events and athletes. That being said, the Olympic berth has not increased, right? So we're going to still have the same 5 athletes for the men, 5 for the women. They just now will have an extra day of competition.
Mm-hmm. The mixed team event is extremely exciting in my opinion. We've always asked, hey, can we change men's gymnastics? Can we change women's gymnastics? Maybe less people are saying something about women's gymnastics, but people want change in men's gymnastics. And I think this is the World Gymnastics saying, let's try something. Let's get where all the eyes are. And the eyes have been historically in the last couple of years on the women let's try and get some attention and bring the men into that. I think that's going to be super exciting. Personally, if there was a mixed team event when I got to go to the Olympics, I would have been gunning for that spot myself. So really looking forward to it. I think there's going to be a ton of great gymnastics today. And let's remember, too, something similar to the juniors. This is early in the season still. It's only February. Obviously, we've got some international competitions right on the horizon the next coming months. But should we expect these guys to be polished completely today?
No, not yet. I mean, a lot of them are also working in tandem with their NCAA schedule, in which you compete infinitely more than the elite schedule, right? So some of these athletes are coming off their 6th week of straight competition, right? And that is a difficult thing to work through. So not only are they not in their final form in that, they're preparing for a 14-week season, but they're also not in their final form in that, their larger goal might actually be an NCAA championship title, right? That All-American at the end of the season.
100%. And I think the beauty about the NCAA program is, as we see it on different events, we've got conglomerates of NCAA programs on different events. And we're starting off first event, Sasha Boganusik on the floor. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, huge first pass. That double full, double front, getting 2/10 of connection value, and he stomps it cold. Great way to start the meet. And another
2 for 2,
stick.
right from the get-go.
Goodness gracious.
Well, sometimes it's you can really tell right away how people are starting. I hate to talk about the routines that we're seeing in the beginning right in front of our faces, but there was a really good vault from a Michigan athlete. That's all I'm going to say.
This is very good difficulty as well. I mean, that first pass was DD +2. Next pass was an E with that double-double. And then he followed up with a Randy, right? There was a slight error on that connection tumbling there. But instead just, they'll give him a tuck instead of a layout, right? So he'll lose a connection and he'll lose the shape he was going for, right? That layout.
Luckily, what he did there, though, that I appreciated was he stayed with a really good landing.
Absolutely.
He minimized the amount of deductions that he incurred. Overall, a really great routine for Sasha. Probably going to be disappointed in some of those passes, but what's great about him is I think he's got a long elite career ahead of him. People forget he's only a freshman, but he competes like a veteran. We had a chance actually to talk to Brett McClure, who we're going to have on later on in the show. He really believes that today's competition is going to be a battle between the veterans for that all-around spot. Maybe that's why I lean towards that way. I'm going to keep beating myself up about that.
No. I mean, Fred, yes, he's been so good for so long, right? He feels like a veteran in that his name has been tossed around forever. But he's only, 21, right? He's only been a senior for 3 years.
Extremely well done here by Landon Simpson, a Penn State athlete. And again, we're just going to be seeing so many different NCAA athletes all over the field.
So earlier today, we commentated the Elite Team Cup, and in that we were able to emphasize how important it is to work in these team environments and establish momentum. And it's the same way as we're seeing with Fred right here. Instead of establishing momentum for a team, you're establishing momentum for yourself. And be sure, right, to start off well. Right? Very clean 2.5 vault right there, nearly stuck. Is that Josh Carnes in a Maltese?
You know what's awesome?
In a back-cap Maltese?
I was talking to the Evo coaches. They said Josh is a dark horse and watch out for his rings. He's upped his difficulty by a whole point since coming to Evo. And I said, how is he doing that? He said 15 pounds of muscle, and he's lifting with us as a team.
I mean, the point was those first 2 skills. There's 2 Maltese skills. We're probably close to a point, and I don't believe he had those before. And
I think one of those critiques of Josh's gymnastics back in the day was, what about rings? Well, he showed everybody what about rings.
Absolutely, wow. Super impressive work there, very exciting.
Right now on P-bars, we're going to have June EY.
All right, and if you were to ask me, this is a young man I also have confidence. I think he is fully capable of walking in and
I'd have to say that June is, for me, one of those guys that we're lucky to have in our country because of his quality of his gymnastics. He brings that international quality that you see from all these other international sports. Christian, tell me something about this double front, though. Tell me something about this double front. We talked about it on the junior stage. We're still going to give them a little bit of slack for having that cowboy. I see Cowboy, but he's got a college uniform on. What about that?
No, you might give them slack. I won't. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Or Paul is picking on me because earlier I mentioned I am very picky about double fronts on parallel bars. It's just in my view, it's a 1/10 upgrade, double front versus a back double pike. Double pike is infinitely easier to execute and lands. And so when I see athletes going for double fronts, if they're doing these skills with a Cowboy and they're taking hops, then to me it doesn't seem like it is worth it to switch up.
So
right?
you're saying he should have stuck and you wouldn't have had any complaints?
No, I still would have complained about the Cowboy. All right, I'm a man of my word, and for those of you who think I'm being mean, you can go back and watch mine in college. They were pretty good. So that's why I'm picky about it.
Well, here's one of those people that we were talking about early in the stream. This is the story. Joel Moldauer, his first major competition coming back from a USADA violation. And folks, I want to make clear that it was not a violation that was due to failure on a drug test. In fact, it was due to the fact of not appearing for a drug test 3 consecutive times. And what about the veteran status? That was a routine. I can't even put into words at how difficult that is to do. Taking that many months off, coming back to your first Winter Cup and hitting a pommel horse routine?
Well, and it's not like he got to come straight back to Winter Cup. He had to qualify, right? Oh. He had to go from being out of the gym for that 18 months entirely and then get his skills back well enough to compete at a Winter Cup qualifier and then do well enough at the Winter Cup qualifier to get here and then hit that horse routine.
You know, when I just got to embrace Joel right before the meet, he gave me a big hug and said, wild 12 weeks. Huh. And you're telling me.
Right.
Right now we've got a Nebraska athlete, Natachi. Incredible. I had no idea that he was pushing the casino.
Oh, he's a great high bar worker. I've seen him do the Yuki. He's caught a Brett Schneider. I believe he is the youngest Brett Schneider catch ever. And I think he caught it at about 16 years old. I got to watch it. It was awesome. Just like that, dismount. Goodness gracious, dropped that from the sky straight up and down, planted firmly.
Hey, did that remind you of a toothpick in a club sandwich?
Dude, you're going to get me copyrighted, all right?
Early in the stream on the first rotation, I say it, but I'll be honest. Johnny R., if you're listening, that one was for you.
Yeah, right?
Man, that was incredible, though. And I really want to say that a lot of these athletes over the last couple of years have developed this difficulty. Christian and I were talking about earlier in the stream on the junior side that these skills take time. What you saw on the junior stream was maybe an unpolished, unfinished product for a lot of those athletes. Christian, today we're going to be seeing guys that have been doing these routines, that have been pushing that difficulty for those 3, 4, 5 years, and it's starting to come to light.
Oh, absolutely. And while we've got him on screen, I would like to highlight what I think is an underrated athlete, Brian Solomon. He's out of the Naval Academy, which is a feat in itself, right, with all the responsibilities that they have. But Brian is also a tremendous all-arounder. He consistently posts one of the best all-around scores in the country when he has the opportunity to compete, which is often because he's on so many of the Navy lineups. An added fun fact that, and on top of being, a fantastic midshipman and a great athlete for them, he's also the son of ice skater Nancy Kerrigan.
Oh my gosh. You got all the facts.
Oh, unfortunately, just a little under on that double-double. But, he pushed difficulty in that. That was a difficult routine. We saw the Malteses, we saw the swing, and came up a little short on the double-double. But there's lots of gymnastics to be done, and that is not disqualifying.
One of my favorite parts about watching this today already, and just a couple of gymnasts in, the level of finish on these guys. It's those small things that these guys have worked on for so many years that have allowed them to get to the stage that they're at.
Here we go. This is one that I asked specifically to have on air, Max Auden, and I certainly hope I don't come to his cursive at the moment. But this young man is phenomenal on high bar. Right? You saw that zooming in the start, pop that talk right up, and now we get ready for the releases.
Is this what I think it is? Woo. Did you just commentator curse?
Not on purpose, man. I tried. I knocked on wood and everything. But it's huge gymnastics, right? We love to see the guys pushing the envelope on these releases, and he did it with such good form. It's unfortunate that hand just slipped off the bar there.
And we talked about this early on in the stream on the junior side. Falling in the middle of the set throws off just about everything. Your momentum, your mental clarity, your energy, your talk to me about trying to get back up after missing a release like that.
I mean, the reset mentally is difficult, right? I mentioned it earlier. It's kind of like if you were to ask someone to start in the middle of the alphabet. Yeah, you can do it, but you're going to have to think a little bit about how you get there, the letters around it, and then proceed, right? In the same rhythm and cadence you normally say the song. And it's the same thing with gymnastics, right? You expect to be at a certain place, and when you're not there, you have to run through the routine in your head to get back there.
Sure.
That whole time, right, you're strategizing. Do I have to repeat the skill I just missed? Do I move on without it? How's that going to affect my score? How's it going to affect the team sometimes? And then lactic acid's building the whole time, right?
Sure.
It is tiring to fall, because instead of being able to get through it in one go, it's a start and start, start and stop, start and stop.
Sure. Well, I really have to commend Max Auden for getting back up on the high bar, repeating that. Coleman, getting that Tkachev.
Obviously, the set did not go quite the way he wanted. I would recommend watching him throughout the NCAA, though. He's great for Nebraska. Truly a treat to watch on high bar. And he wouldn't have been doing that set if he didn't know he could hit it well. So a little unfortunate today, but keep an eye on him because we'll be seeing more.
Christian, we've got Shane Wiskus up now on the still rings.
The man.
This is incredible because this is one of those events that obviously hurts the body. It was hurting Shane before he got this massive surgery on his shoulder, and now he's back with a vengeance. And as much as I've talked to Shane and started to understand his journey, he's doing this because he didn't feel like he had given it his all. He didn't feel like he had given everything that he had to give to the sport, and he wanted more. So he's back today, and from what I've understood from everybody that's watching him and that everything that I've seen in the warm-up so far, his veteran status is going to carry him through this meet.
I could totally see it. I mean, Shane is an incredibly consistent competitor, right? He competed 4 years in the NCAA. I believe he was, silver all around us at all 4, right? So that's fantastic. And this is actually a tad downgraded for Shane, just in that a great stick, all right? Those matter, right? Each tenth matters. We'll circle back to Fred talking about how the sticks matter actually in a little bit. But Shane was the 2021, I believe, rings champion at the NCAA championships. So
I see why. It's with stuck landings like that.
Right? And the strength, right? So we know he can do more, and for coming off the shoulder injury, that's great. We got Taylor Christopoulos now working on high bar.
Personally, I've got to give Taylor a little bit of a shout out. One of those guys that you just love watching succeed. One of those guys. Man, we're giving them the commentator's curse today, Christian. But one of those guys that I've always liked rooting for these kind of guys. Guys that just love the sport, try their best in everything that they do, and exude good energy. Mm-hmm. And I think we're just so lucky to have in this small little community that we have in the men's gymnastics community, so many guys like that.
Oh yeah, he is a super nice guy. I got the opportunity to talk with him earlier last week as he helped us recap some NCAA routines, right, and a huge Nebraska win. And he was just an absolute treasure to have speaking with me. So always great to see him. He's super nice and fantastic gymnastics. Now we've got David Shama working on parallel bars, which I would argue is his best event.
Sure. One of those guys that I think has been overshadowed by some of the bigger talent that has been on Stanford a couple of the other years, which, listen, it's a powerhouse team. You know what I mean? But David, I think, starting to come into that form where he's starting to get to that older age, starting to get to become an upperclassman, has to be in the lineup, has the opportunity to come to these U.S. competitions. He's got great success as a junior athlete, and I think is just trying to figure out where he fits into that senior picture. Yeah,
and right now it's clearly on an elite parallel bars lineup. I mean, did we see that from bars? Every skill in this has been huge. Oh, and the stomp.
Reminiscent of a Curran Phillips.
Stanford athlete who does great difficulty on parallel bars and some upper arm work. There we go. All right. We got Anthony out of Salto Gymnastics on high bar, who I am sure we will try to avoid speaking about a little bit, try and divert our commentator's curse going at the moment.
I'm just going to wish Anthony the best here. I'm just going to say, Anthony, I hope the set goes great. Kovacs, really well executed.
I like that Tkachev. He has an early tap, which has its pros and cons, but one of the pros is it gets a lot of flexion on the bar, and it gives him great elevation over top of it. He's cranking. Is this a trip? It is a trip. Oh, it nearly stuck.
Anthony representing obviously his club coach, but competing here in the senior division, which means that he's still hanging out with his club coach, is trying to break into that senior developmental stage maybe not necessarily one of those guys that is going to make the senior team right away, but has the vision and has the path forward.
And now we're catching Carson Eschenman from Michigan.
Oh, and Charlie Larson. One of those guys that everybody's looking out for. Unfortunately, Yurchenko 2.5 just wasn't there for Charlie this time. Well, Christian, a great first rotation, a lot of story developing. Really excited to see the next couple of rotations. We'll be right back.
Showing beautiful control. He's clearly a crowd favorite.
The most reliable Wi-Fi at one price for 5 years. Guaranteed. Xfinity. Imagine that.
Keep going. Keep working. Keep climbing. And always keep playing. With the exceptional orthopedic care at Baptist Health, with a skilled team of dedicated specialists, along with advanced services and procedures, it's no wonder most people choose us to help them keep moving and doing the things that move them. Find a Baptist Health provider today.
Come see gymnastics like never before at the 2026 American Cup, March 7th at Lee's Family Forum. Be there as Las Vegas hosts this international team showdown with the world's best men and women competing side by side in a high-stakes elimination format where only one nation remains. You've never seen gymnastics like this. Tickets on sale now. Visit AmericanCup.com for more information. Don't miss any of the excitement at the 2026 American Cup.
Currently in fifth place for University of Nebraska, Alexander Natachi, 13.5. In fourth place for University of Illinois, Garrett Schooley, 13.6. Second and third, 13.8 for Penn State, Landon Simpson. In second place for University of Michigan, Fred Richard, 14.05. And leading the contest after the first rotation with a 14.808 in the all-around for Stanford University, David Shaba. They are your leaders heading into rotation 2 of the Winter Cup for senior men.
All right, really now looking at the leaderboard standings after one rotation, we've got Garrett Schooley from Illinois leading the floor with a 13.6. On the Pommel horse, a massive 15.325 from Parker Thaxton.
I'm sure he got some bonus there as well to break that 15 barrier.
On rings, we've got a 13.602 with those Malteses from
Mr.
Josh Carnes. On vault, I'll have no doubt that my curse is going to be Well, I believe that it's Fred at the top of the leaderboard.
I don't think that's a bad guess at all from what we saw.
And in the all-around right now, we've got David Shama leading with a 14.808. Christian, I have no doubt it was because of that massive parallel bar routine.
Oh, absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have an incredible guest here with us, Brett McClure, our high performance director. Brett, thanks so much for joining the stream.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I'm really looking forward to this.
Brett, you've had the opportunity to now be a part of so many different World Championship selections, different Olympic team selections. What kind of momentum have you seen build over the last few years? We had Jason on earlier that said there has just been a buzz inside of the men's room.
Yeah, it's incredible. Just to give a little historical perspective, coming off of not so successful Olympic Games when I was hired, and really taken 5-6 years to build the difficulty and close the gap with China and Japan and even Great Britain, and just to see it come to fruition, 23 World Championships, 24 Olympic Games, and then last year's World Championships has been unbelievable. I'm just incredibly proud of this team and what you guys have accomplished, and I couldn't be more thrilled to see what the future has for them too.
To be fair, I wasn't even directly involved when I was crowd watching, so I've been very happy with the success of the men's program recently. I mean, it makes it so much fun to talk smack online about how good the U.S. is when they're backing it up with the hardware.
100%.
Yeah, it's really been incredible. I mean, these guys work so hard day in, day out, and they just haven't been able to, get back on the podium. So for the last 3 years to have the success they've had, is just amazing to watch.
So Brett, for those of us that don't know, that are listening to the stream, that don't understand, Brett is actually an Olympian himself. And Brett always, and he gave us all some really great advice at the Olympic Games, and I use it to the day. I retell people all about it. I say that our head coach at the Olympics told us, never say no to an autograph and never say no to a picture, because you never know when it's going to be your last one. And so, Brett, I use that all the time nowadays as I'm trying to give back to the sport. But a lot of people, I think, try and figure out what kind of relationship they want to give back to the sport of gymnastics. How did you find yourself into this high-performance role?
Well, honestly, I have no idea how it happened. Like going through my career and then transitioning out into coaching, which I never thought I was going to do. Immediately fell in love with coaching at the Air Force Academy with the Kip Simons, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. It was more fulfilling than I thought. And just teaching cartwheels. We had walk-ons on that team managers that wanted to learn gymnastics, and it kind of gave me a little bit more joy, after coming down from such a high-stress career,
Sure.
At the Olympic Games and things like that. So it kind of brought back that joy, and then I felt like after about 4 years, maybe I could give back to the elite community as well. And so I went to Stanford as the assistant coach with Tom Gleamy, and really focused on the international guys and trying to get guys back on national team, Olympic trials, things like that. And that kind of sparked me to push myself even more because I felt like I had more to give. Became the head coach at Cal for about 4 years, and we got a team, to NCAA team finals with no scholarships and no funding, and it was incredible. I felt like I did a really good service for the gymnastics community and helping Cal get back on their feet. Mm-hmm. And then that's when USA Gymnastics reached out to me and they said, what do you think about this? And I said, I have no idea, but if you all believe in me and believe I have something to offer this national program, then I'm all in. And so here we are.
Brett, it's been awesome to have you at the helm, albeit it's a little bit less intimidating to be commentating next to you than when it is to be watching you in the stands, judging every single person, trying to figure out who's going to be the best guy for the team. And I've always said it, I'd love to be a selection committee person, just not this year.
Yeah, it's the toughest part of the job is the selection process, because you want everybody to make the team. You're fully invested in each athlete and their progress and everything involved with it. So, only selecting 3 maybe that go to a World Cup or 5 that make an Olympic team is like devastating. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously you're thrilled for the guys that make it, but it hurts. It really truly hurts for the ones that don't. So it's like the worst part of the job.
And so when you're thinking about making those teams, I assume that starts earlier than just the night of the competition, right? right? Right at trials.
No,
so
you
to speak,
usually,
champs.
you guys usually just kind of close your eyes and say, let's have a team, huh?
Yeah, no, doesn't work that way.
And so as we're sitting here at Winter Nationals, right, and you're getting ready to think about, which athletes you'll put on the team, which athletes you'll send on which international assignments, what are some things you're looking for between, difficulty, execution, attitude? What do you look for?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the event, what the objective is. World Cups, you want to send somebody out there who's got the highest difficulty. DTB, Team Challenge, you want to send somebody out there who's most likely going to be in a team situation. How do they work together? What are the ins and outs? It just really depends. And then obviously World Championships, you want the best of all, right? Best difficulty, best execution, highest hit percentage, and great teammates.
Man, Brett, you'd kind of just, I think everybody should just take that advice. Do the hardest routines, do them the cleanest, and make sure you hit and stick the dismount. I mean, it doesn't get simpler than that, right?
Yeah, paralysis by analysis, right? It's a real thing. The more simple you can make it, the better it is to execute.
Sure. Well, we've gotten a chance so far on the stream. I know we didn't get to cover it live, but we did watch Yule. And just now in front of us, and hopefully we're going to be able to watch this vault later, Shane Wiskus just went. Speak about kind of that veteran experience. You said it before we got on the stream. You think it's going to be a battle of the veterans today. What do you mean by that, and how important is it to have that veteran experience? What does that mean?
Well, we've got a lot of guys that aren't here right now that have already made the national team based on their performances from this year. World champions, Donnell Wittenberg and Brody Malone and
Sure.
Patty Hoops, who's out in Coppice right now. So there's a lot of guys that aren't here competing. But there's a few that stick out that have been around a while. And, they know how to handle pressure. The thing is about Shane Wiskus and Yule Moldauer specifically is this is their first major competition back in a long time. So that is a ton of pressure they've got to handle. And they did on the first rotation. That's got to feel good, to be able to go out there, get a routine done, and then start moving on to the next one and just keep building on that confidence. And then obviously Frederick, he's a veteran as well, right? If you win world and Olympic medals, that makes you a veteran, and he's going to come out here swinging. So I think that's why I say the veterans kind of, are the ones to watch right now. But, man, I tell you what, there's a ton of great guys like this guy coming up on Parallel Bars, Crew Bold, who want their spot, and they're not afraid to go after it and take it, right?
Sure.
So I'm really excited to see what Crew does in this routine, and obviously high bar is kind of one of his specialties, and he got his ankle fixed recently. He's ready to go on floor exercise. I think he's trying to make a run at the American Cup coming up in a couple weeks.
So that kind of sounds like, and you led right into it, Brett, it's floor, P-bars, and high bar, all three events that are one of those mixed team opportunities. Now, we don't have exact clarity, and we don't know precisely exactly every single detail yet about the mixed team, but tell me a little bit about how the U.S. men's national team is looking at the mixed team of Cup.
I mean, it's a high priority. It's another opportunity to win. Come on, Crew. Man, that was a good fight, though. It's another opportunity to win an Olympic medal. I mean, that's incredible. So I'm taking it very, very seriously. The women's team is taking it very seriously. We think we've got a good chance. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen in the next couple years. But yeah, we're making sure that this is a priority for both programs, and it's different. There's a lot of strategy that needs to be involved. So I'm excited about that part of it, right? Like, there are so many traditionalists in the sport. To have something new, I'm like, I can't wait. I can't wait to go out to American Cup and give it a shot.
And we are too. I know everybody at home is excited to have an American Cup come back. It's been so many years since we haven't had one, and the Americans have always had so much success at the American Cup, and it's kind of a place where I've seen that gymnasts make their name. Obviously, it's early. Obviously, we've got selection procedures to go through. What kind of person do you see going to the American Cup? Is it going to be one of those guys that's, they're going to hit, what you're going to get? Or is that a competition where you want to see somebody kind of go all the way out, give them all the difficulty that they can? Or, from an early perspective from your selection committee, what is the kind of person that you want to see at American Cup?
Yeah, we've got to come up with a strategy on what we're going to do for each round. So just to give a little background on the competition format, there's going to be 3 rounds of competition. 8 teams will compete in the first round, and then the top 6 teams will compete in the second round, new life, right? So new strategy, and then the final round will be the final 4 teams competing for the gold, silver, and bronze. So we have to decide if we want to throw the kitchen sink first, last, in the middle. Do we want to hit, all of the routines, like be a little conservative, first round, middle round, last round? I don't know. Those are things that we need to talk about by looking at the athletes that we have on that team. But there's a lot of opportunity to do different strategies throughout the entire event, so it's going to be fun.
I'm really excited for that, Christian, because we have never, at least I've never really understood, outside of maybe a training in practice, we've never put so much weight on a single routine in a meet. We only do that in the gym, hey, we do a pressure scenario, you go up on that pommel horse and that's only your event and you got it before, a guy has to do 20 rope climbs if he misses or something like that. We've never had something like that on the elite competition. Most of the time, at least my entire history of gymnastics has been building throughout the meet for a team scenario. It's just like an event final within an event final within an event final. I'm stoked. Listen,
yeah,
I'm stoked.
I don't know if you caught that, but David, our all-around leader, just hit another routine on high bar, it looked like. So he's saying he's not going anywhere. And then we've got Frederick here. I think vault, in my opinion, is one of the best events to start on, right? Because you're nervous, you're excited, you have a ton of energy, and you can just let it go, right, and get after it. So that was an advantage for Frederick at this Winter Cup, right? Being able to start on an apparatus right there to get out the nerves. Now we see how much he's settled in. He's got a lot on his plate, and I'm anxious to see if he pulls this off today. So good luck, Fred.
Christian, tell me a little bit about why we're going to be watching Fred's dismount so intensely today.
Yeah, so in warm-up, we got a chance to speak to him and asked if he was going to be wearing his uniform. And as we can all see, he is, right? And because of that, he incurs a 3/10 deduction at the beginning of the meet. And he told us the way he was going to combat that 3/10 deduction was by sticking 3 or more dismounts and getting those stick bonuses to overcome that. And so he almost got it on vault, and I'm not gonna commentate his cursing again. All right, I'm gonna try and be better, guys. I promise.
Well, I'll give you what. Fred told me himself, I'll do it on P-bars. So if he commentates curses himself, that's on him, not on me.
Oh, okay, good. As long as it's on someone else.
So far, this has been a very clean set. Really, really no struggle on that front upright to handstand, front upright stutz to handstand, excuse me. The swing elements have been great. So far, this has been an excellent set for Fred.
I feel comfortable making the argument that parallel bars is probably Fred's best event. And that's one stick.
And that's one.
All right, you had to get some of that deduction back by getting some stick bonus right there. He needs to do a good job. He needs to remake the national team today.
Sure.
The athletes that were given a pass, right, to U.S. Championships in August were on the world team and world medalists. And unfortunately, Frederick didn't have the best year last year, which is, understandable coming off an Olympic year. It's a lot, right? You have to try to keep your motivation up in the gym. You got a lot of promotional things that you want to maybe do, and then also increase your difficulty and win some medals. So, yeah, I wish him the best the rest of this competition. He has a great start, so can't wait to see what he does.
I don't mean to interrupt, but this pommel horse routine from Preston Nye is a lot of fun. Look at these Russian skills. He did that flop Russian into the triple Russian in the middle, into the loop. Yeah. Into the tong. Look at all that connected.
He makes it look like so much fun, doesn't he?
I bet he's also wicked dizzy. But
boom. Christian, we talked about the celebration after. How about that, Dad? Bringing back something retro.
I'm actually a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of bringing back retro things generally. You'll notice I throw a lot of retro slang in there. And Jackson up now. Jackson did 2 great vaults. Look at this. Almost stuck to Yurchenko 2.5. And then Jackson went right back. Is 1.5.
And I really appreciate the strategy there, going for 2 vaults. You won't see too many athletes competing 2 vaults here at Winter Cup, but to get the points, Brett, you do have to do both vaults, correct?
Yeah, that's money on the table right there. Wow, what a vault by Shane. So in order to, place and vault you have to do 2 vaults. If you only have 1, then you're not eligible to place in vault, first, second, or third. And so there's prize money attached to that. And I want to say there's only 3 guys that are doing it. So, props to him for getting after it and probably taking home some cash.
Yeah, really happy to see Jackson put both vaults on his feet. And Brett, we talked about this a little bit before the program. Talk about the opportunity for a lot of these guys to continue doing gymnastics. We had the chance to speak to Raj Bhavsar earlier today, who said he didn't make his Olympic team until he was 27 years old. Sometime you're a late bloomer. What's that like, to just have more opportunities around the sport to be doing gymnastics?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely incredible. I was one of the guys that was a beneficiary from the Olympic Training Center and the resident program. I trained there for 10 years, and we have something similar that's down in Florida now. Evo has stepped up to help support athletes that are postgraduate, and then a lot of universities are still providing opportunities for those guys postgraduate, and so I think it's phenomenal, right? Like, we're seeing guys stay in the sport a lot longer, which is absolutely inspiring, and it's just challenging the entire program.
And I'll have to say this, because I thought this was one of the best things that I heard from our interview before the competition. We've got an incredible donor who committed a $100 million donation to the USOPC to guarantee Olympians with a $100,000 salary, I believe, for the future of their entire careers. And what did you do with that information, Brett? You forwarded that to Brody Malone, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we talked about it at camp with a lot of the other guys too. I was like, we all had the same question: is it retroactive?
Of course.
What about us? No, but regardless, it's happening now, and that is incredible. And we are so thankful to have that opportunity to support Team USA. I mean, it's so smart, and Olympians, Olympians deserve it. They sacrifice a lot for Team USA, and to have somebody step up in such a way is just an incredible thing.
So, Christian, I know what's on your mind, and it's the same question that we asked Jason. What's it going to be like to have an Olympics in your home country in a couple of years?
Terrifying. You want to treat it like it's any other Olympic Games, but you have to, face the facts of it, which is it's in our home country. All of your friends and family are going to want to have access to you. But then what comes with that is opportunity. Everybody's going to want to sponsor you, get you in the commercials, and just promote you as an athlete, which is an unbelievable opportunity in itself, right? But that's a result of the execution, right? So that's what I'm bringing back to the national team is, we have to acknowledge it's a home games, but so what? Once we get into that games bubble, it's just like any other games, and you guys did a phenomenal job in Paris, and you just got to go do the same thing. If we can hit 100% like we did in team final, anything's possible.
So, Brett, speaking of the Olympic journey, we've got an incredible opportunity to watch one of our athletes that has made it already, bypassed the national team selection procedures, and we've got Cameron Nelson at a World Cup medaling on still rings.
Brett, I'm
going to let you commentate this entire routine.
I mean, just look at the increase in strength. He's been working so hard in strength and conditioning, just like Josh Carnes. Those two guys are new to the Evo program, and you can already see the benefits of that increased strength. I mean, solid hold there, and the legs together, plan, shoot, hand, nice and steady. And you know what he does best, right?
Mm-hmm. Of course I do.
The triple back. So Christian, I can't wait to see this dismount coming up.
Christian, you got to judge this triple back. You had a triple back of yourself.
I did. A man after my own heart for sure. Cameron's absolutely better at it than I ever was. All right, 110%. He lands it
1, 2, 3.
Way more often.
And he almost stuck that landing. He won a bronze medal with not sticking the landing. Imagine what happens when he does, right? And so I'm proud of him. He wanted to do that triple pike on floor finals, but it just, something wasn't feeling right in warm-ups, and so they decided to pull it, and they downgraded his floor routine, which still, he could have medaled, but he hopped out of bounds for a 3/10 deduction there. But super proud of him for finishing on still rings, right? Bringing home a medal again for Team USA, keeping that momentum going. And shout out to Brandon Dang and Patty Hoops. Patty was this close to making finals. Brandon got in there and he hit, right? That's what you got to do. Just keep hitting routines. But unfortunately, a couple 3/10 errors against a stacked, Pommel horse final. Absolutely incredibly difficult to medal.
You need to be cracking a 15 to medal at Copa.
Isn't that insane? Isn't that absolutely insane?
It is almost unimaginable.
You know, Max from Great Britain, Reese, we haven't even seen those guys come back yet. Steven, you know, like, and they're the pioneers, right, of being horse gurus. So.
Well, listen, Brett, thank you so much for the insight, for all the fans who now understand the man that sits in the top stands and makes these selections. So, Brett, thanks so much for the insight. Thanks for having fun on camera with us. We'd love to bring this kind of insight to the fans. And, again, best of luck on the road to 2028.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you guys for doing the streaming, commentating. It's been so much fun just to listen to you guys. And, you know, like, you're fresh off the competition floor. You add the most important perspective that the audience can hear. So we appreciate that.
And fans, we'll be right back with our third rotation. Thank you very much.
See Gymnastics' biggest stars at the 2026 Xfinity U.S. Gymnastics Championships at the Mortgage Matchup Center in Phoenix. Cheer on Olympic medalists and the next generation of USA Gymnastics stars as they rise to the challenge and vie for national titles. Tickets on sale now. Visit XfinityChampionships.com for more information. Don't miss any of the action at the 2026 Xfinity US Gymnastics Championships.
Earth, from the horizontal comforts of your couch, is merely dirt and sticks and moss and bugs and stuff. But when you're double backflipping off a backcountry cliff, or hallucinating on 1 million micrograms of exhaustion, you might just see Earth as a world of endless attractions. Welcome to the... Hello? Excuse me, I was still talking. Anyway, welcome to the world of... All conditions gear!
Sonia and Gerald trust Prevagen for their brains, and this is their story.
I'm Sonia.
And I'm Gerald, and we live in Jacksonville, Florida.
We are both military veterans, and we provide dental care for underserved communities. We have a very busy life.
We take Prevagen for our brains.
I would honestly say I like the way that Prevagen makes me feel. At the end of the day, I feel confident and amazing.
Prevagen has been the #1 selling brain supplement nationwide for over 10 years.
Helium Melanin showing beautiful control. Clearly a crowd favorite.
The most reliable Wi-Fi at one price for 5 years. Guaranteed. Xfinity. Imagine that.
To succeed in gymnastics, it takes strength, determination, dedication, and it takes you. The USA Gymnastics Foundation raises funds to empower athletes at all levels and disciplines of our sport and to enrich communities for all-around success. Give to the USA Gymnastics Foundation today because their success starts with you.
And Christian, we are back with rotation number 3. Very, very exciting so far. Let's get into the leaderboard. Right now in the senior men's all-around, in 5th place, we've got Shane Wiskus, that veteran experience coming into play. Alex Natachi in 4th. Yoel Moldauer in 3rd. Again, that veteran experience. David Shamal with 2 great routines so far, and Fred Richard in 1st.
They were not all of the competitions
we weren't able to, we got a little bit of a complaint earlier in the chat that there was an athlete that we showed, Cameron Nelson, that other athletes were competing at the same time. Actually, we were just done with the rotation, and come on, we wanted to highlight that World Cup medal. It's incredible achievement, and as Brad said, just continuing the momentum as the year continues to go on. Right now, we've got June Ewai, in my opinion, as I said earlier in the stream, one of those guys that's absolutely got a high reason to be in the conversation for that 2028 team. And if not, then for sure get ready to see him on the 2032 stage.
Yeah, no, great execution, great difficulty, and once again, just a confident presence on the competition floor, and it's just palpable that he knows his way around a gymnastics competition while he's performing for us.
Really excited just to see how this competition continues to develop. A lot of great storylines going on. I really hope I don't have to eat my words and say that. but nevertheless, I'd be so excited to see Fred Richard atop the podium.
Big Andrews Hughes off the table and the stick on vault.
Raise the green flag. Raise the green flag.
There you go. That gets him a 14.5 star value because he gets that additional stick bonus time.
And there it is. A great change in my opinion.
I'm also a stick bonus defender, which I understand is a hot take, so don't murder me in the chat, so to speak.
No.
But there are so many different ways that your landings can be deducted that the incentive to get that stick bonus makes a lot of sense. And quite frankly, I think it made more sense before they reneged on the dismount value changes.
Sure.
Because, if you're incentivizing these more difficult dismounts, in theory, that is because you want to see athletes pushing difficulty. And the incentive to do so, but only safely and close together, safely between skills while keeping them close together, was to do an easier dismount where you're getting that stick, right? Whether you're going to do a D in stick for a total of 9/10 or you're going to do an E in stick for a total of 1.1.
Really cleanly done there from Jesse from Ohio State.
And a unique vault style with that forward-facing entry.
So right now we're watching kind of a big congregation of guys around the parallel bars. They've got honey on their hands. They're doing the P bars. Why is that so important, Christian? Why is it so important to just do all this work on the P bars? We see people coming up with these different concoctions on their fingers, on their hands. What are they trying to do here?
Yeah, no, there's some chemistry situation going on there where it's, a combination of chalk, honey, and water to the athlete's preference.
Maybe some biology if you get some spit in there?
Yeah, which was never my preference. It was just like, everyone else is going to touch that, and I wouldn't. And so I was not a spit guy personally. That being said, I would say that you find the pickiest athletes will ever be in gymnastics on parallel bars. They will chalk the bars up. They will strip the chalk off. They will turn them in. They'll turn them out. They'll turn one rail in, leave the other out. They are so picky.
Would you say that there's some superstition involved there too?
Oh, 100%. I think P-bars breeds divas low key. If I'm being completely honest with you all.
P-bars breeds divas. I'm putting that on a gravestone, man. That's incredible.
We got Shane working on parallel bars here. He started with that Hanma.
Which, as we were talking, unfortunate. I was gonna really start talking about how great Shane is at P-bars, but I still think that nevertheless, that small little mistake there, I still think that P-bars is probably Shane's best event.
I would agree with that. I would say he was really cooking on 4 for a while there, and
sure.
Around when he made the Olympic team, especially, he was putting up some huge numbers on 4, finding those sticks really consistently. That being said, P-bars consistently over time is probably his highest scoring event.
Yeah.
And so, yes, he had the error, which is unfortunate, but he has some room built in because this is a difficult routine. He executes it well. So, yes, he had the error, but he's not going to score as low as a typical athlete would if they were to mess up on parallel bars.
Sure, and I know putting in that Makoots, that is a bigger skill for Shane, and it's one of those skills that he wanted coming back for this comeback for his after the surgery. I mean, obviously we're going to see some kinks today, right? We talked about how this isn't going to be the perfect competition for these athletes, but nevertheless, great to see Shane getting back into his stride. Okay. We've almost got like a retro moment here. We've got Crew Bold on high bar, my former teammate, and also
after Coleman. Oh my goodness gracious, what a huge connection. That was well done too.
This is what I'm talking about. Crew Bold packing in the difficulty on this high bar routine. As Brett said, this is one of those guys that could be in the talks for one of those mixed team cup events.
I mean, the connected to Koch's. This is how Crew Bold made the national team before, right? He's competing for that spot back right now and just showing us all why he deserves to be there.
Oh my gosh, was that fingertips on that full talk to double under?
He got that low.
Crew does a Zuliman that late in the set. Nobody's got the grip strength like him. This is a new dismount for him. Triple back, legs together with a stuck landing. Look at that, tongue out, smiling. He knows he put it all on the line. He knows he needed to have that set there. After that comeback, arms out saying, who's the man I am. Great set, Crew.
Who do you think you are? I am.
Chat, let's cook Christian for that one.
That's
Christian,
one of my favorite videos on the internet.
Christian, there was a period of time at some competition. I can't say which one because I can't say how important the meet was, but I threw Coach Jordan Garenstrom the "Who do you think you are? I am."
And that's incredible. I think it's so funny.
If this is the routine that I think is going to come from Daniela Lankin here, This is one of my favorite routines to watch on Instagram. I haven't gotten the chance to see it live yet.
We mentioned that's a Gadsden.
This is the routine that I'm talking about.
We mentioned giant Dion. Goodness gracious. I'm going to have to save what I was going to say afterwards. We got to stay in the moment on this. Beautiful Peters.
This is that international style. I'm a big fan of Daniela. I've been saying to a lot of people there's going to be a year where he...
Oh, wow. Daniela Lincoln is a world medalist on this event. We had a guest on earlier, Jason Woodnick, who mentioned that we made history on the junior level this year by having athletes medal for the first time ever. Danila was one of those. He medaled twice on parallel bars and high bar, and we can see why. Not only is he one of the best juniors in the world on parallel bars, he's one of the best parallel bar workers, period. And, I mean, that whole set was packed with difficulty and capped off with the most difficult parallel bar dismount in the world that he nearly stopped.
So Fred's going back from his P-bar routine, which is arguably one of his best, but he's also high-flying athlete and got load of difficulty.
Gorgeous.
That might have been one of the best casinas I've seen done in the world.
Oh, absolutely.
A new skill for him, Lucan. Fred's the kind of guy that's had that skill for probably 4 years and just does it every other month just to remind you guys how good he is.
That's hilarious, first of all. I used to do stuff like that and warm up on meets hit rings. I'd be like, I'm not going to do an invert pull today, but I want everyone to know I could, all right?
So very important routine here. Just a little sloppy towards the end, but he's obviously just trying to jam-pack this routine with difficulty.
I like the little that's not the word I'm going to use. The little wiggle in his hips that he used to get that quas going to initiate that turn. A double-double. Oh.
A double-double, and those grips look to be secured by none other than X-Bands. Shameless plug. Chat, shameless plug. Okay, Riley Lewis, one of those guys, again, I kind of talked about how Taylor Christopoulos was one of those guys that you just like to cheer for. Those kind of guys that just exude good into the world. In my opinion, Riley Lewis fits that kind of box.
I agree, and it's silly to call him underrated, not because you're silly for saying it, but because he literally won Winter Cup last year, right? He is the reigning Winter Cup all-around champion. That being said, you'll notice a whole lot of KT tape on that shoulder. This young man is working with a brand new shoulder. It is still healing. He tore just about everything in it last year competing for Team USA. And so he's really still getting back into the swing of things here. He also suffered a leg injury. He tore an adductor in his leg. And so we're seeing him get back to it.
Speaking of that press handstand from a planche, Riley has been one of those guys that is freakishly strong in a planche and Maltese position. I've always thought that I had a pretty strong planche until I've seen Riley. Putting in that D-level non-acrobatic element was something that I really wanted to do. It never looked as easy as Riley just made it look.
I'm right there with you. I was a big planche Maltese guy, and there's no... Ooh, good stick. And there's no universe in which you were ever going to convince me to get planched a handstand on floor for any sort of element coup value on floor. It just, I mean, it's very difficult, even if you can planche the handstand.
You know, sorry.
No, but Riley just floats through those positions. You can tell when he does rings.
I really loved just seeing that kind of interaction with him and his family and the crowd. I got a chance to talk to Riley's parents before the competition. Just the families are the reason that we keep going. You know, having that strong support system is so important. And we're lucky not just from our coaches, but also our friends and our family that support all these incredible athletes to keep pushing their dreams, keep chasing them. Obviously, they could continue and do different kinds of careers, not keep going with gymnastics, but they stick around because they want to give back and continue to give more to this sport. It's incredible to see this.
That's great. I think longevity in the sport on both ends is really important, right? This Olympics or bust mentality is terrible for longevity in the sport, right? You can't be convincing these juniors that, you know, if you're not going to be on a Division I team as their best athlete, if you're not going to go to the Olympics, then you should quit. And it should be the same attitude for some of our senior athletes as well. Just because and this is not to speak for Riley, who absolutely is, when he's healthy, an Olympic level contender, like Olympic team contender. But just generally, if we want athletes to remain in the sport and enjoy themselves, we need to relieve this pressure, this mentality that it's Olympics or bust, right? If you want to keep going and you're healthy and you can do so safely, then you absolutely should. And you should welcome that.
I totally agree. Man, I just want to acknowledge all of the incredible people that we have in the chat right now. We've got former gymnasts. We've got Cameron Nelson himself in the chat. Shout out Cameron. We've got Germany. Taylor Burkhart. We've got so many incredible athletes. I believe we saw Ian Gunther earlier in the chat.
We did. Hi, Ian.
just awesome. The guys have 1.5 thousand people watching the stream. Just feels so impactful, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be here with you, Christian, to be on this stream commentating some great gymnastics.
Well, I'm beyond grateful. I'm still, quite frankly, surprised that I had this opportunity, so I'm very happy to be here.
Man, okay, so we now got David Shama, who, again, is in that all-around talk. David started on P-bars and is ending his all-around campaign on the vault, which, as we talked about, vault is one of those highest-scoring events. Could that give him a potential boost at the very end of the meet to jump into that all-around leader spot if he's in contention?
It very well could, right? We saw David do a front handspring double front in warm-up. And whether or not that is the vault he competes, we'll find out in the meantime.
Sure.
Oh, pardon me, in game time. But, I mean, it's a very tricky vault to land. It can be hard to execute as well. So there's a real big risk-reward going on there, especially if he is on that cusp.
All right, Christian Marsh, this is one of my dark horses. I'll say it now, for the 2028 Olympic team. Josh Carnes has been making an insane emergence. Everybody knew he was talented. He was one of the most talented juniors in the world. Peach Diamondov from the board. Are we kidding?
No, it's not ridiculous. It's not ridiculous to say that. I mean, I also unironically think Josh Carnes is one of the best parallel workers in the world. Just the variety of skills that he can do and the general level of execution it's pretty outstanding.
I think Evo has been one of the best decisions that he could have made.
Look at the elevation on this huge flight on that Bob's are out, just flying from one end of the rails to the other. He'll do it again to Peltz, I assume. Yep, right up.
And you know, again, maybe we don't see the perfectly polished gymnastics today, but that's not the point. Today's supposed to be showing the committee, the world, the other teammates, everybody, where they're at and where they're going to be. In a couple of weeks, in a couple of years, we're going to be seeing that execution hopefully compressed to only about a point off. We're aiming for that 9-0 execution, not today, in a couple of years.
Well, 9-0 execution, do you think that the fact that great Chinese gymnast Zhu Jingyuan being there is going to have an effect on that? Because does a normal 9-0 look like a 9-0 compared to his 9-3?
Well, let's be honest, right? I'm going to go ahead and say that some of Zhu Jingyuan's routines are close to a 10.
Right.
And I'm not crazy to say that. Execution for me has always been one of the most important things in gymnastics. I talked about how much I cared about making my gymnastics look pleasing to the eye. That was the philosophy that I got taught growing up from my great coaches back in Buffalo Grove. But Zhu Jingyuan's routines are what gymnastics should look like. You know, we talked about chef's kiss. That's a major chef's kiss, all of Zhu Jingyuan's routines. But I think the U.S. has the opportunity over the next 2 years to develop that difficulty into those 9-0 sets. And as Brett said, if we're pushing some of the highest difficulty in the world and we can go to the competition and go 18 for 18 again, there's not a reason that we shouldn't be in the mix.
No, and I agree with that. What do we think about juniors having triple flipping skills being prohibited? I actually do think that's a good idea, unfortunately.
Christian, it's almost like we haven't even gotten the chance to really talk so much outside of the sport, but I feel like we're on the same level playing field because I totally agree. It's one of those things that's the sport is about longevity. It's not a sprinting sport. It's a marathon of a sport. As Raj said, 27 years old when he made that first Olympic team. A lot of skills I don't think are supposed to be for juniors just quite yet. It takes a long time to develop that mindset, those strength skills, all the things that prepare you to do those big skills.
Just general body preparedness, and I think there's an acceptable level of danger for young athletes.
Sure.
And I think at times, triples get pretty close to the barrier, in my opinion.
Keep them in the pit as a junior, huh? Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for Rotation 3. Coming up next, we have an extremely special guest. We'll be having our brand new USA Gym CEO. So look forward to having him on here and hope to hear from you guys soon. Stay on and stay tuned.
Showing beautiful control.
most reliable Wi-Fi at one price for 5 years. Guaranteed. Xfinity. Imagine that.
Keep going. Keep working. Keep climbing. And always keep playing. With the exceptional orthopedic care at Baptist Health, with a skilled team of dedicated specialists, along with advanced services and procedures, it's no wonder most people choose us to help them keep moving and doing the things that move them. Find a Baptist Health provider today.
Come see gymnastics like never before at the 2026 American Cup, March 7th at Lee's Family Forum. Be there as Las Vegas hosts this international team showdown with the world's best men and women competing side by side in a high-stakes elimination format where only one nation remains. You've never seen gymnastics like this. Tickets on sale now. Visit AmericanCup.com for more information. Don't miss any of the excitement at the 2026 American Cup.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're moving into our fourth rotation, but let's start on the floor and talk about all of these leaders. On first place right now, we've got Riley Luce with a 14.15. On Pommel horse, still holding up is that massive 15.325 from Parker Thaxton. Christian, do you think that's going to waver at all?
I think there's an extremely limited number of athletes on the field today who are going to get even close to possibly touching that.
Unsurprisingly, Yoel's veteran experience keeps him at the top of the leaderboards for the men's rings with the 14.055. A shocking turn of events for Jackson, right now leading vault. And Brett talked about that. Not many athletes are doing that.
Exactly.
On the senior men's P-bars, still leading at the very top of the leaderboard is David Chama with that 14.808.
Josh Kahn's not that far behind despite that era at the beginning of the routine.
And on high bar, Crew Bold leading with the 14.263. I can't say anything but high bar you, first and second place from the University of Michigan.
Well, you guys All-American 4 spots this year.
Correct.
Your whole lineup.
And leading the men's all-around, Fred Richard with a 42.252. But as we said, David Chama still in the race because he's ending on vault, and it could give him that bump to all the way up to the front. And Yoel Moldauer just hanging in there.
0.003 behind.
Talk about that bonus system. That's what it does. Ladies and gentlemen, how exciting is it to bring on the new CEO of USA Gymnastics, Kyle Albrecht. Great to have you here.
It's great to be here, Paul, Christian. Really excited for our first elite competition of the year, and my first elite competition, since taking on the CEO role. So you can feel the energy in here. I'm feeling it. I feel it from you guys listening to the broadcast. It's awesome to be here.
Kyle, 2 months in. Tell me about it. What's it been like?
You know what? It's been an amazing experience thus far. For me, coming into this role, I was so excited to get started, so excited to start meeting people from the gymnastics community, to come out and see our events live, to be here interacting, getting to put names with faces, see our athletes live. And really, it's just been nothing but a tremendously warm welcome from the gymnastics community. And it's really just energized me every time we go back to HQ in Indy, and just to really think about the energy and really what we have to look forward to the next couple of years.
That's awesome, Kyle. For all the fans, including myself even, I'm sorry I haven't read all your Wikipedia stats yet. Tell us a little bit about where you came from, the experience that you bring, and how you're willing and ready to impact USA Gymnastics so positively.
Yeah, absolutely. So my background, I was a soccer player in college. Unfortunately, for my career, never reached the level of some of the athletes that we're seeing out here today. Got into the world of sports and was at Under Armour for a decade, and then made my way to Major League Soccer. So was a part of that environment of a pro league and got to cut my teeth in the world of soccer, but really the opportunity to be a part of the Olympic movement, the opportunity to be a part of an organization like USAG, this tailwinds that we have over the next couple years, was something that I just saw as a massive opportunity. I got to meet a lot of the team that we have at USA Gymnastics, and really every person I met, I quickly realized that we've got an amazing group. I've got amazing teammates there, and we're going to do really special things alongside the team at USA Gymnastics, but also our entire gymnastics community out there.
Sure, Christian, I'll let you hop in, but I just have to say, Kyle, what an opportunity to join an organization that is in obviously the Olympic spotlight. People have told me if there's any sport to make the Olympics for, you pick the right one. Gymnastics, it's the one that people's minds go to. And you're joining an organization that's about to have a home Olympic Games. Let that sit in.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll just say, it really kind of starts, you look at kind of this runway we have over the next 2.5 years. We're obviously super excited with this event and the kickoff the elite season, but then we've got American Cup. We've got a mixed team format that we're going to see, over the next couple years at American Cup that's going to obviously be a part of the Olympic Games. It's going to be a really fast runway here to LA 28. We've already got a lot of plans in the works. I feel very fortunate, as I mentioned, to be stepping into a team that was thinking really strategically, thoughtfully about how we maximize that moment and really help take the sport to the next level when we get to LA.
Great. And I have a quick aside before I ask you an actual content-related question. Where did you grow up, Kyle?
Christian, I'm a MoCo guy.
I'm
a Maryland guy. I'm a Maryland guy. So I know we have that in common. You're a Montgomery County guy as well. So no, it's great to be sitting next to a fellow Marylander here.
I am.
Christian, it's like you just have all these partnerships and brotherhoods that I don't have.
I got asked the other day from somebody on the team, what's your favorite, event to watch, and who do you like watching in your short time you've been here in the role? For me, I had to throw out Donald Wittenberg because he's a Maryland guy. So we have that connection.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I cannot put into words how excited I am that I got to do that twice today, because Jason is also from Maryland.
Yeah, we got some other Marylanders in the USAG squad.
Exactly. And so what have you taken away from being on the ground here at Winter Cup today?
Well, I mean, the depth of talent is phenomenal. It's fun to see, the guys that were in juniors last year making the step up. It's great to see some of the, you mentioned some of the veterans that have come back, former, guys that have been with the national team in the past, Olympians here that we're watching. So I think the depth of talent is fantastic. And I think you can just see, feel the energy that you see, the first USAG, league competition of the year. It's really special, I think, to see everybody in this environment, and I think it's the official ramp of the elite season underway, and it's just going to keep moving here into American Cup in a couple weeks' time.
Two things that I have to say. First, what a blessing it is to have an organization that brings on their CEO to talk to the fans, to talk to the community, to show them what they're about, and show them that we really are athlete-focused. Caring about the athletes, because without them, what I've heard from all the top down, as my time as an elite athlete, we don't exist without the athletes.
100%. I couldn't agree more. A lot of my background, I think I've shared, brand, sports marketing, done some stuff on the commercial side, and we're excited about growing the sport. But unequivocally at the start of every day, and what we think about is keeping the athlete at the center of every conversation that we have. Athlete safety, athlete well-being, making sure the athlete experience is central to everything that we do, and that's going to stay, and that's going to be core to who we are, because it's so important.
Well, Kyle, the last question I got for you. We're coming off of so much momentum. Everything that we've heard from Jason, from Brett, from Raj, what we've been hearing is there's momentum. There's this kind of vibrance that's going on. And Jason said that it really started at the 2023 World Championships, ending that medal drought, bringing home a team medal, moving through to Paris 2024, bringing home a team medal there, and just recently winning 2 golds at the World Championships. How are you going to continue to expand gymnastics and gymnastics opportunity over the next few years going into this Olympic season?
Yeah, well, I think that's the question, obviously, that we get up every day thinking about. I think there's a real opportunity for us, obviously, from a performance standpoint. We've got a phenomenal team. We've got athletes here we're supporting at the highest level, and we're going to have very, very high aspirations, going into LA 28, and I feel very confident with the performance team we have here. But beyond just the performance side of things, we're really excited about the opportunity to grow the sport. We know, and you mentioned the eyeballs that are going to be on our sport. headed into LA 28 and beyond, the opportunity to help and really drive the sport forward and support the gymnastics community across this country, not only at the elite level, but all the way down to the grassroots level, is something that I'm just incredibly excited for. It's going to be, as mentioned, a very fast runway into LA 28, but we're going to use it as a springboard to really take the sport to new heights in 28 and beyond.
I love it, Kyle. Hey, Kyle, we won't make you commentate any of this gymnastics. We're just going to let you enjoy your first elite competition. Thank you so much for hopping on, willing to be yourself, willing to give your voice to our fans, to us, to everybody that's listening. So, Kyle, we're really excited to have you.
We appreciate that. I just want to thank you guys, Christian, Paul, for doing this, for being here. Something that I've really seen in my short time as CEO is how important you guys are to the gymnastics community, how much everybody loves to give back and be a part of that community, even beyond your athlete days. So thank you for being here. We appreciate you guys.
Our pleasure. Thank you, Kyle.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy it.
So we've got some incredible gymnastics going on in the background, Christian. No. First of all, I'm buzzing after that interaction with our CEO. I always thought in my head, it's going to be tough shoes to fill. Lee, tenure. It's been incredible to have her as CEO. I know, maybe it's the Michigan effect. Maybe it's that. Maybe I'm a little biased. But I've had so much fun being under her leadership as an organization. But to bring in Kyle, who's got experience from the MLS, which has blown up in the last couple of years, I've got no doubt that is the right person to be at the helm.
I'm very excited and very optimistic. We've got Fred Richard on the screen now.
Stuck a massive double-double layout to start off his campaign on the floor.
We'll pull down the side now, which is becoming more popular.
Oh my God.
Kick.
Fred.
You got to switch up those corner transitions.
You have to.
Double layout also suck. I love the research into the double layout. I just like those skills. They're so pretty when they're done right.
Sure.
And I do think that the extra 10th that has been awarded to all of them, like making that base double layout and B and building accordingly, I do think that was the right play.
It's going to be what I'm really happy to see about Fred. And talk about longevity. He has traditionally had a lot of problems with his lower extremities, specifically with his Achilles, just overworking and doing too much on his legs. And he's always had them heavily taped. Today, I see no tape. I see what that tells me as a commentator and as a viewer, health. Taking the time to rest. Brett talked about missing out on those world championship teams. He took the time to rest. He took the time to get his body right. Fan favorite, leading the all-around campaign right now. I see nothing stopping him from potentially winning this competition.
Well, it's definitely in the cards, the way he's been competing so far today. He looks great. Right
now we've got Joel Moldauer, who, again, Christian, what I've seen is we've got guys that have P-bar abilities out the wazoo.
He's a world finalist on this event. Joel is a great P-bar worker. We keep saying it, but it is not an exaggeration. I don't believe it's a puff piece to say we have a lot of athletes who are very strong on parallel bars. Between Shane, Josh, David Shema, Fred, Joel, Asher, who isn't here today, another world finalist on parallel bars. Donnell, world finalist on parallel bars. This is just an event the U.S. is good at.
I've got a funny story about parallel bars, and it was during my campaign for the 2023 World Team. I had just been going through so many different injuries, whether it was my fingers, whether it was I had gone through this phase where I was getting really bad rips, and I just couldn't be training P-bars too much. I had to do a very watered-down routine just to stay in the fight for the all-around, but I knew I had to put together something. We always joked when I got to the World Team that if I was doing P-bars, we were really in a bad position if I was doing P-bars. So I've always just admired watching these guys on P-bars. Josh Carnes attempting potentially close to a 16-0, if not over a 16-0 difficulty routine on high bar.
That doesn't even feel real. And shout out Joel for putting down that world-class parallel bars routine. We're going to see a huge number from that. Great difficulty and good execution.
Oh, I just love that skill has come back.
Right? Pagan is so unique, so difficult, and he makes it look easy. He just flies through this routine. Cassina, a little scrappy.
I saw this video on Josh's Instagram that actually confirmed that I should be done with gymnastics. I saw a Pagan to a Cassina to a Coleman. And as soon as I saw that video, I literally dropped my phone, I looked at my fiance, Raina, and I said, I made the right call.
Yeah, right?
I got to compete with this.
Unreal. as he flies through the rest of the routine. Big hump forward, but I mean, when you do a set that huge at a competition this important, most of the battle is hitting it, which he did.
Right now, we've got that athlete that I was talking about earlier in the competition, June Ey.
But a tough one. I bet he'll feel some weight off his shoulders if he gets through this unscathed. Starting with the handle work, the easy handle work to set that rhythm in the routine.
I really love June's look with regards to his gymnastics. A little bit of a scrappy fight there.
Yeah, he'll lose credit for that Russian, but he repeated it. Look at that.
That's called gymnastics IQ.
Pushing through this Magyar.
I've always thought that was cool. You know, I always felt that was kind of like hiking down a tightrope, doing a Magyar on just the pommels.
Yeah, I did a 1-2-5. He did a what do you call that? 1-2-4-5, which I think might be a C. That being said, it was.
Chet, did you understand that reference?
Yeah, right. 1-2-5 refers to the sections of the pommel horse, right? If you start on the end, you got section 1, which is leather, section 2, which is handle. Section 3 would be the leather in between the handles. Section 4 would be the other pommel, and the last section would be the last section of leather, right, for 5. And I believe if you do leather, handle, leather like that, it might be a C. But the more important part there was that that routine was scrappy, which will get you through on some other events. But the way that deduction stuck up on pommel horse, I mean, that's
unfair.
It will very likely come back to bite him in a pretty severe way.
So I'm going to have to ask our man, Ian Gunther, to do a really big favor for us going into this last couple of rotations. Ian, I'm going to need you to post this on your Instagram and TikTok story and get us up to 2,000 viewers. Ian, I'll owe you some fast food if we can accomplish this, but man, oh man, get that reach going, get the attention around gymnastics, and get us to 2,000 viewers. Can we do that, chat?
Chat. We got Tate Costa vaulting now.
Just an awesome story to have Tate Costa going all the way to the 2024 Olympic trials.
I'm a big Tate fan generally. He's a very nice guy and a great athlete, so I am generally pretty happy when he's doing well. Sasha had 2 vaults.
Two vaults. Landed the Kazumatsu 1.5, and now has the handspring double front. Does he put it down?
Yes, he does.
We will see where that stacks him up on the vault placings.
And if I'm being candid, Sasha was struggling with vault in podium training and warm-up, so it is. I love a gamer, man.
Kind of sounds like he confirmed your suspicions if he's a gamer.
Someone who turns it on when the pressure's on. It is extremely frustrating to be on a team with, right? Because you see your teammate falling all over the place, and then all of a sudden they raise their hand and they're the best gymnast you've ever seen. But I'll be darned if it's not just a fantastic spectator experience to just watch someone morph into the moment.
And say, where did that come from? They'll just pull it out of their back pocket. Right now, we've got an incredible high bar routine coming up. Jackson Harrison, somebody that's been working their tail off since getting to Evo. They have been working tirelessly to get to the best version of their gymnastics, and I feel like they're very close to it. Jackson at the 2025 U.S. Championships actually had an outside shot of becoming a senior national team member. I think putting down a great high bar set here puts them right into the conversation.
And one of the most important things we need to talk about when we talk about Jackson is, like, right there, that dismount's new. Jackson used to do tuck double-double. Jackson has learned around 20-plus skills since joining Evo, and that is unreal. Most athletes don't have 20 skills that they can learn.
And I really don't think that the fans understand how big the gymnastics that they're about to do on floor is. They've got a double-double layout, a double layout with a full twist, and a double layout. I'm really hoping that we can watch Jackson put it all down.
Jackson's a dog. I very much enjoy watching Jackson compete.
Fans, we thank you so much for being a part of this 4th rotation. What a great experience to have the brand new CEO of USA Gymnastics there. Some great questions. It sounds like we've got incredible leadership at the top. We're coming down to the last 2 rotations. Can't wait to see the leaderboard and see how this shakes out over the next 2 events.
Anything can happen. We got a lot of gymnastics left.
My apologies, fans. Chat, that one's on me. I didn't even get the cue. Fans, my apologies. No disrespect whatsoever to Brian Solomon. Christian, how do I forgive myself?
Not commentators cursing him, all right? We've been terrible on high bars so far today, so we gotta let this man cook.
Come on, Brian.
This is underrated and a tad silly. I love the Navy uniforms. They consistently look pretty good in their kit.
Did you ever get to compete in an all-white uniform?
When I was a junior, yeah. When I was a junior, I had a white tank, white pants, white socks uniform.
Man, it is unforgiving.
Correct.
You know, I've always said in my experience, I have been either in incredible shape or in really bad shape when I wear a white uniform, and unfortunately, you can see every inch of it.
No, that is fully correct. Ooh, huge triple here. Just the hands down.
Christian, we keep cursing.
I don't think that be on us. We didn't talk about it this time. We didn't do it. That being said, yeah, triple, I've been impressed has stayed around because after the Gymnastics Federation went back on, incentivizing those higher difficulty dismounts, we are still seeing an increased number of triple tucks on high bar than we saw prior to that adjustment and the adjustment back.
Christian, now I can confidently say we're through 4 rotations, 2 more rotations to go. I'm really looking forward to the next 2 rotations and see who becomes the 2026 Winter Cup champion.
I mean, it's looking like Fred's going to get away with it.
See Gymnastics' biggest stars at the 2026 Xfinity U.S. Gymnastics Championships at the Mortgage Matchup Center in Phoenix. Cheer on Olympic medalists and the next generation of USA Gymnastics stars as they rise to the challenge and vie for national titles. Tickets on sale now. Visit XfinityChampionships.com for more information. Don't miss any of the action at the 2026 Xfinity U.S. Gymnastics Championships.
Earth, from the horizontal comforts of your couch, is merely dirt and sticks and moss and bugs and stuff. But when you're double backflipping off a backcountry cliff or hallucinating on 1 million micrograms of exhaustion, you might just see Earth as a world of endless attractions. Welcome to the... Hello? Excuse me, I was still talking. Anyway, welcome to the world of... All conditions gear!
Sonia and Gerald trust Prevagen for their brains, and this is their story.
I'm Sonia.
And I'm Gerald, and we live in Jacksonville, Florida.
We are both military veterans, and we provide dental care for underserved communities. We have a very busy life.
We take Prevagen for our brains.
I would honestly say I like the way that Prevagen makes me feel. At the end of the day, I feel confident and amazing.
Prevagen has been the #1 selling brain supplement nationwide for over 10 years.
Melanin showing beautiful control. She's clearly a crowd favorite.
The most reliable Wi-Fi at one price for 5 years. Guaranteed. Xfinity. Imagine that.
To succeed in gymnastics, it takes strength, determination, dedication, and it takes you. The USA Gymnastics Foundation raises funds to empower athletes at all levels and disciplines of our sport and to enrich communities for all-around success. Give to the USA Gymnastics Foundation today because their success starts with you.
All right, and welcome back to Rotation 5 at the 2026 Winter Cup. And now it is time for a Prevagen memorable moment from senior men running loose. Now let's take a look back at some highlights from the 2025 Winter Cup all-around champion Riley Lewis. Riley took home event titles on day 2 of competition on the floor and still ranged to add to his 80.4 in the all-around from day 1. Prevagen for your brain.
Christian, 4 events down. We got to speak to the high-performance director, Brett McClure. We got to speak to the brand-new CEO of USA Gymnastics. We've got a tight race at the top of the all-around leaderboard. What more do you want?
More stakes, all right. Let's light that Pommel horse on fire. She hasn't been mean enough today. That being said, I mean, we've got a lot of stuff to keep our eyes on this rotation because Fred Richard is on Pommel horse.
Yep.
And given that his last event will be rings, an event you don't typically fall off of. So,
sure.
Barring catastrophe, this is really make or break the win for Fred here.
Look at this leaderboard. Fred Richard with a 56.607, Joel Moldauer with a 55.810, and Preston Nye, one of those underdogs, one of those dark horses maybe, with a 53.658.
Yeah, I mean, Fred with about an 8/10 lead over Joel, and in a spooky place to be, right? Because Joel's on high bar right now, which is one of his lower scoring events.
Sure.
That being said, Fred's on Pommel horse, where he can do well, but Pommel horse is
we've seen what's been happening.
Sure. Right? And then Joel will end on 4, Fred will end on rings, which are just great comparisons for them because Joel is a phenom on floor and Fred is also fantastic on rings, right? And it's that consistency. And so it really is going to be just a battle of tenths here, battle of inches.
Really excited to see those routines that we were talking about from the Evo group on the floor right now. We're going to have Fred Richard right now still leading with that massive routine. He had 14.355, but Charlie Larson, the 14.202. Great routine for him coming back from that vault. Parker Thaxton, 15.325. However, if you look at who's getting ready to go on Pommel horse, we've got Aronson Mansberger.
I think he has the best chance of touching that score. Ooh, on rings, we got a switch up with Chris Heiser from Nebraska, which makes sense. He's fantastic on that event. I would say it's one of his best, if not his best event. We got Garrett Trulli in the lead on vault, who does a huge triple full.
Sure.
Joel in first on V-bars, which I did see coming, 14.955, so there's probably some bonus working there, but it was a great set. And a high bar, Danilo Lakin, which we didn't even see.
The leaderboard at a 14.658. I saw him struggling in the warm-up with his massive routine, with his pagan, with his casina, with his big dismount. I saw him struggling, but it sounds like he's one of those guys that we talked about earlier, a gamer.
Guess he figured it out. Paul, we've got some requests. Next time the camera's on us, they want to see the ice on your wrist, apparently.
Mr. Paul Judah, what's the double watch mean? Why you're wearing 2? Well, Jelkaboo, I'm actually doing something that I wish I started, and this is a free promotion for the Whoop brand. This is a Whoop technology brand. I actually, man, I'm about to sound as retired as it gets. I actually had a flexible spending account that I got, able to spend some money on, and the Whoop for a 1-year membership was on there. It's something that I don't think that I used as much as I could have when I was tracking and doing all of my real gymnastics. It's maybe information that I'm glad I didn't know, because one of those things that I've worried about is what happens if you're wearing this at the Olympic Games and you wake up and it says you got a 30% recovery.
Fair enough.
Does that not trigger something in your brain?
It would make me tweak. That's something I would remove as a variable entirely. But more importantly, we got to watch Aronson Mansberger do Pommel horse, because this is the best chance to swing for the wing right here. This man is great at Pommel horse. Beautiful circle, as we can see here, and just incredible difficulty.
Do you see the control he's got while he's on the Pommel horse? Small little mistake there. Hopefully that doesn't destroy him too much. Christian, I'm unfortunately going to have to say I don't think this is going to touch that 15.325 that we saw from Parker earlier. However, this still has the potential to be a massive routine.
Just in difficulty.
Going into the flops at the end of the routine, some athletes start with that.
I mean, it's that single pommel work is exceptionally difficult, and it speaks to the difficulty of the rest of his routine that is where that makes sense for him.
Luckily, he did have that large start value, which I think he's still going to have that start value bonus because of the difficulty. Luckily, because of that, too, I think his score is still going to be salvaged, even though he had a couple of those mess-ups, but I just don't know if it's going to come close to that 15.325 that we saw from Parker.
We're watching Preston Nye here on parallel bars, who had a little bit of struggle on that on-look. Now we see the form break on the Peters, which unfortunately he was unable to save. Peters, another one of those tricky skills. I mentioned it on the Elite Team Cup, the meet that we commentated earlier today. Some skills I find this especially true with D-value skills. They are D-values either because they are difficult or because they're hard to do well. And Peters is one of those skills that isn't necessarily difficult, it's difficult to do well. It's difficult to keep your arms straight, to keep your legs together, to hit that precise balance point is more manageable sometimes than maintaining perfect execution while you do it.
Sure. Hey, a stuck double front, Christian. You like those?
I do like those. I'm a big fan. He did it very well, and you know, it might be a little, but it helps him get a 10th back on that set.
Riley Luce, one of those athletes that, again, Christian, we talked about. Look at the KT tape on that guy's shoulder. Yeah. Does that scream to you grit? Does that scream to you perseverance?
Absolutely. Nice Maltese. We mentioned he's very strong in those Maltese and flange positions. I had the chance to listen to an interview Riley Luce did earlier this week with Neutral Deductions, and he mentioned that his rings routine might look a little unorthodox, but it's meant to be building to a routine he intends to do when he's fully back, healthy, and strong on rings. Wow. That being said, it's looking like he's still got pretty good strength and swing working here.
You know, if I ever said that this wasn't me at full capacity, I would be a lucky guy.
Right, and he has one of the nicest double-doubles I've ever seen. Yeah, very nice.
You know, and I think we're just going to continue to see Riley develop with that shoulder injury coming back from all that information. Right now we've got Fred Richard, which we talked about on the Pommel horse through his all-around campaign. This could be a big event for Fred if he puts it all together.
Very nice, Mr. Hansen. He is strong on this event. I feel like it's not highlighted as one of his strengths, but Fred has a nice circle, and he has deceptively high difficulty as well. He's got a very unique flow to his Pommel horse routine that seems to work for him. That triple Russian directly into the woo there, breaking out into the flares. Very nice style as well.
One of those things that I don't think a lot of people really understand about how much Fred works, Fred will stay on Pommel horse for hours at a time doing basic sequences because he is enamored by how the Japanese and the Chinese and other countries that are so good at Pommel horse flow effortlessly. It doesn't come naturally to Fred, and Fred understands that, but Fred works his tail off in the gym. Extra conditioning, extra reps. That handstand dismount, by the way, has made so much progress. And I think people, especially the younger athletes who might struggle with that handstand dismount, don't realize, hey, it just comes naturally. Hey, it's just going to come right away. For Fred, he had to work for a very long time for that handstand dismount to come to fruition, and now we're seeing that benefit 3-4 years down the line.
It's great. You know, Rome wasn't built overnight, and we see that with Fred as well, because that set should be pretty well rewarded. It was well executed, good difficulty, and that's exactly what he needed if he wanted to try and increase his lead going into the final rotation here.
Really love to just see the interaction from all these former athletes and everybody that sees and feels this power of the sport. You know, 1.5 thousand people in the chat, and everybody's got that connection to gymnastics. I feel like we may not be a big community, but we're a tightly knit one.
Oh, of course. Great ring set from David Shamal. He is not letting up, you know. He is absolutely still in that all-around race, and he gets to end on vault, we mentioned. He pulls a great vault out. We mentioned some of these athletes are gamers. He might have struggled on it in warm-up, but if David Shamal stomps a double front,
he's right back in the conversation.
Exactly.
Right now, I'm not 100% sure if we're going to be seeing it, but I know that Alex here on vault is capable of a Yurchenko triple full. Arguably one of the best triple fulls in the world.
I do not think that's insane to say. He's a gym tech athlete formerly under Coach Matt Henry down in Tennessee, who is a great coach, and he does a very good job teaching his athletes technically correct and beautiful gymnastics. And Alex does a great job of exemplifying that.
Just unfortunately, I know that block didn't seem to be perfect. I know that he was struggling in the warm-up. It's one of those things, though. You know, Alex competes every day on an AAI table. He has to come to this meet. He has to compete on a podium. He has to switch to a Spieth table, which naturally has a different kind of bounce element to it than an AAI table. And you have to make all those sorts of changes in about 2 days.
AAI tables and Spieth tables are night and day.
Sure. I'd say the same thing about maybe even the high bar, maybe even the floor, and especially, Christian, are the rings the same?
Oh, I'm a bad one to ask about that. As far as I'm concerned, all rings are rings. I was, you can ask some of my teammates, I was a bit of a psycho when it came to, feeling the difference between equipment. I pretended it didn't exist. I didn't really set the parallel bars to my width. I didn't really set the pommel horse to my width. I vaulted in a range instead of at a specific distance, and rings might have well has been outside. I did not care.
So, Christian, you just told me two things today. First, you told me that when you were lazy and you didn't want to give big tips for people to learn how to do a Maltese, you would just say to push down. Okay, so first of all, chat, don't go to Christian to learn how to do a Maltese. Second of all, you just told people that you just went completely against the convention and didn't ever do the same setting for different equipment.
Yeah, no, I messed up on it a couple times in club, and I just told myself this isn't something I should care that much about, and then just made it so that I could comfortably do my gymnastics in a pretty wide range of opportunities.
Watching Yul just slam this high bar routine, which we know, Yul's admitted, it's not one of his best, strongest events, slams it, coming back after an 18-month hiatus. And that full stuck double twisting, full twisting double layout dismount, that gives me those goosebumps. I was a part of that rotation when Yul made the 2021 Olympic team, and he started crying emotionally.
That is my favorite gymnastics moment in history. Watching Yul make his first Olympic team is it's a truly beautiful moment, passion personified. And speaking of which, let's watch Jackson do some floor. Really tall athlete to be doing some huge gymnastics here. Oh, that's a stick.
That's a stick. 2 for 2 incredible passes for Jackson. We talked about this. We talked about the amount of gymnastics that they have learned. It's incredible. Actually, that might have been one of my favorite transitions I've seen today.
Oh, no. The artistry Jackson has in their routine is gorgeous. And I'm going to get really technical, guys. I really like the way Jackson does their 2.5 punch lay.
Sure.
Because I don't know. I don't know if you saw, but they did a 1.5 pull that last full around quick. I love when I can see someone do distinct pulls in their twisting. It just shows an awareness in the flip that I think is underrated. Full twisting double layout this late into the routine. That is usually the hardest pass in someone else's floor routine.
Jackson's got one more pass, and I know that it's the third double layout type element in his routine. Double layout, can he put down this massive routine?
Double layout dismount, huge.
I don't know what they're feeding everybody at Evo, but they have all gotten stronger, better, faster, quicker, all the acronyms. Oh my God, Chad, I'm cooked. Adjectives, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's got to be something in the water, or the way they have.
It's that Florida water.
Exactly. Wow. Or that, iron sharpens iron is the expression,
100%.
and it's just a very high concentration of very talented and dedicated athletes, and that's got to be having an effect on these athletes somehow, because otherwise they would not be improving and performing at the rate they're, improving in the level they're performing.
I got to give some credit to the coaches there too. To breed this kind of amount of elite gymnastics, and I think everybody, maybe the Evo experiment, as maybe a lot of people called it, proved successful. You had that many guys on the Olympic team. You're doing something right over there. So I just got to give a quick shout out to Evo to keeping the dream alive for a lot of athletes.
Had 2 world champions this year between Donnell Wittenberg and Brody Malone.
Yeah.
Out of Evo.
Oh, not
Steven
to
as
mention,
well.
sure. Oh my gosh.
Watching rings now. Got to struggle a little bit on those handstands. And good dismount there to finish.
Cooper Kim, one of those guys that I think is going to pop off in the next couple of years. Needs that experience. Obviously, we see that kind of fluctuation of scores in the 10s and the 11s. I think that hashes out as they get older.
Absolutely. So much of competing as an elite athlete is mental, to a degree that I did not at all expect coming into college. Just the amount of mental preparation and mental toughness that was required.
Just to have to say, just a couple of shout-outs to just the type of gymnast that OU is able to breed. When I think about an OU gymnast, what I think about is the type of person that will just always hit sets. Whether they're tired, whether they're healthy, whether they're anything, they're the type of athletes that just hit sets. I think that really goes to show, Mark, from the success that Mark Williams has had in terms of athletes, in terms of Olympians. Mark Williams, GOAT? One of the GOATs.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look at his record. It speaks for itself as far as I'm concerned. Whatever program they're running at Oklahoma works, and that is tried and true. Oh, there we go. Held on to it there. But
that carpet gets slippery.
It does.
Christian.
It does. The first couple times I was on the speed parallel bars landing mats, I was shocked. All right, we got Taylor Christopher's vaulter here. He does 2.5 on 2.
Only because I know him, I'm going to comment on the stash. I think it looks great.
Oh, he's been getting comments. Cooper Giles said it looks great as well. He's a former Nebraska gymnast as well.
If I could grow that kind of facial hair, I would too. Unfortunately, I got to go with the clean shave. Just an unfortunate little landing there, but I think that these are the kind of vaults that we see these young guys. I love to see these junior athletes pushing into the senior ranks. Great stuff, stuck vault right there.
Even if it's easy, make sure you do it well.
These are the vaults that, again, it's early in the season. It may be one of their first times on a Spieth table early in the season. Are they ready for that? All right. Unfortunately, I think that we had our CEO, Kyle, on while Shane was going in on high bar, and he had a couple mistakes on high bar, but he's hanging on with that 10, almost an 11. But floors, like as you said, Christian, one of those events that you really enjoyed watching Shane compete for a long time.
He's a good athlete in the air. He really knows how to find a stick as well. And Shane is another one of those athletes who just competes with a presence, a confidence that's palpable. And obviously right there, I told you, he knows how to find those sticks, man.
Now, Christian, are we able to squat that low, though? And you might know this a little bit more than me. I tended to kind of always omit that idea from my landings, I just kind of rolled with the punches when it happened. But what's that kind of deduction?
You do incur deduction for low landings in gymnastics, right? Those deep squats, even if you stick, it varies, of course, depending on how low you land. I want to say nowadays you can actually lose credit if you land too low.
Oh, my God.
At the very least, you'll get a 5/10 deduction, which is huge because it's essentially going to erase or more than erase any skill you did to get that low in the first place.
I mean, I'm gonna give him a little bit of commentator jinxing because he can do this. A golden sombrero. Silver sombrero it is. No, but listen, I mean, Shane Wiskus, one of those guys that you could never count out getting one of those golden sombreros. As you said, he's got a cat-like awareness, and he knows how to find the landings. Fans, we've got one more rotation to go. Thank you so much for hanging in with us. Thanks for enjoying the time. We'll get back to you in just a couple of minutes. Thank you so much, and look forward to hear from you guys soon.
I already blocked this person, or like the person saying this once. If they do it again, I'll block them all day.
Which one?
Sterling block. I'm a level 4 mention this instance.
Showing beautiful control. He's clearly a crowd favorite.
The most reliable Wi-Fi at one price for 5 years. Guaranteed. Xfinity. Imagine that.
Keep going. Keep working. Keep climbing. And always keep playing. With the exceptional orthopedic care at Baptist Health, with a skilled team of dedicated specialists, along with advanced services and procedures, it's no wonder most people choose us to help them keep moving and doing the things that move them. Find a Baptist Health provider today.
see gymnastics like never before at the 2026 American Cup, March 7th at Lee's Family Forum. Be there as Las Vegas hosts this international team showdown with the world's best men and women competing side by side in a high-stakes elimination format where only one nation remains. You've never seen gymnastics like this. Tickets on sale now. Visit AmericanCup.com for more information. Don't miss any of the excitement at the 2026 American Cup.
I can do the Reina intro right now. Christian, one event to go. Winter Cup 2026, all the friends, all the excitement, all the storylines. Are you ready for rotation number 6?
Oh, I need it to happen. I'm anxious. I'm on the edge of my seat. I need to know what's going to happen already. So, no, I'm more than ready. I'm there.
Well, Christian, given the nonchalant nature of our stream right now, I have to give a quick shout out to my fiance, Reina Gugino, who competed today, this morning, showing a video right now to the entire live stream. Yurchenko 1.5 stick. Reina, I love you so much. I'm proud of you. I wish it was a little bit better quality right there, but Reina, congratulations. I wish I was there. Love you. Great job. Should have been a 10 in my opinion. Christian? Should it have been a 10?
I'm a 10 defender personally.
Thanks.
All right.
Hey, no pressure.
Give him out. Give him out.
Man, I've always been curious though what that must feel like as an athlete to get a 10.
I don't know. I got a 9.6 once in my freshman year in college. I'm still riding that high, actually. So
that was good. All right. Still holding on to that men's floor spot. Fred Richard with that 14.355. Parker Thaxton with that 15.325 seems to be untouchable right now. Unfortunately, Aronson Mansberger didn't get up there. Still with that Christopher Heiser, 14.352. Great score for Chris. Still holding on to those that vault spot. I'll be curious to see if any of those Stanford guys end up doing 2 vaults. Not 100% sure, but it looks like that might be locked up. Parallel bars, 14.955 from Joel Moldauer. Is that getting touched?
I don't think so, man. If I'm being completely honest, I do not know that anyone in the last rotation has the juice to touch up almost 15.
And I'm going to go ahead and wager that Daniela stays on the senior men's high bar, 14.658 as well. Let's check out these all-around rankings. Fred Richard with a 70.559. Fred Richard, right now it looks like that uniform is going to be okay to wear.
Yeah, no. I'm not even going to try and venture to do math because I got it so wrong earlier today. I'm still embarrassed about it. But there's a decent spread among these athletes, and it gets real close once you get to 4, 5, 4 through 7 right there. I mean, all within a 64 and change, within six or so tenths of each other.
Man, chat. There was a graphic that about 13 points of difference between first place and second place.
Gosh, dude.
And Christian went ahead and said 7 points. Chat, we've got Phil Hoops. I'm a gymnastics dad, 53 years old, really only care about the Pommel Wars. Paul Judah, can I get some advice about getting my tickets to Olympics 2028? The entire chat, let me tell you guys how you get the Olympics to the 2028. Go online, get in the booth. It is a draw. Luckily, I'll tell you something that not everybody knows. If you're a former Olympian, you get your own draw.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep, I thought that was one of the coolest things that I could have gotten. It said, welcome to your exclusive Olympian alumni ticket booth. And I went, whew, that's a nice email to get.
Yeah, no, that is very nice. I'm also in the draw, so hopefully I'll see you there. Mr. Hoops, sorry. You happen to be related to Patty Hoops of the Air Force Academy and national team member, extraordinary pommel horse swinger.
Frederick Richard, right now, going into this, his final event, first up, kind of feels nice. You know, it's that feeling of, hey, I've got nothing to worry about. I'm going to do my routine. I'm not going to watch any other score after. I'm going to put it all out there right now. Fred, obviously, it's just, you know, Fred has the strength to be one of the best guys in the world on rings, but it's such a difficult journey to be an all-around man, a rings man, a pommel guy. You can't get too bulky. You don't want to be too weak. Christian, it's hard to do all-around.
That's a big claim. You really think Fred has the strength and just overall presence on rings to be one of the best in the world? Should he put his mind to it?
You know, I might have gotten a little bit excited there.
Hey, man, it's okay. Ooh, love the stick. I mean, yeah.
That's one way to finish a competition.
Absolutely gorgeous. So unfortunately, he only got 2/10 of the uniform deduction back in sticks. So we'll have to work on that next time. But I would not be surprised if Fred just ran away with the win there.
I think so too. I think that Fred came out, showed everybody, hey, don't forget about me. I may not have been on that world championship team, but I'm here. I'm doing my thing. I'm working hard. I may be going to Italy for a week at a time, just in the middle of the competition season, but I can come back and win Winter Cup.
Working on high bar here. Big Coleman. You know, a lot of athletes prefer Coleman because they can see the bar the whole time. Even though, you know, adding that full twist is, in theory, more difficult than a regular Kovacs. It is not an experience that I can personally relate to, as I was terrible at high bar. That being said, I can't conceptualize how being able to see the bar a little bit longer and prepare for it would make it easier to catch and then push away so you can swing out clean.
You know, but I'm going to tell you something, Christian. Releases on high bar are scary, no matter who you are. Like, I competed some big ones. I competed a layout Kovacs at one point in my career, but that was hard. It was a big journey for me to put in those larger routines. It wasn't like it just came in one day. All right, here we go. Josh Carnes, what did I say? That dark horse for me for that Paris, that LA 2028 Olympic team. He's been putting in a ton of difficulty on Pommel horse.
Josh is a really light athlete. He just kind of floats through his gymnastics.
Sure.
And I think Pommel horse is one of those events where that's especially true. He just looks as if he's weightless as he flies through his routine.
You know, he even second-guessed himself on that Buznari, and he still made it down.
He's a very quick-twitch athlete as well. Very strong.
That's what I was going to say. Most guys, especially me, who competed at Buznari, on the highest and scariest stages of my life, talk about a Buznari at the Olympic Games. That's one of the scariest Buznaris ever.
Money. I like that a lot.
I'm going to be honest. I think Josh Carnes just said, look at me, world. I can hit big routines. I may not be fully healthy. He's going through a little bit of some shin problems right now, but I've got strength, I've got swings, and I've got skills.
I would be very shocked if
and a healthy head of hair.
Yeah. Oh, gorgeous head of hair. That is a beautiful shade of red. But I would be very shocked if we did not see Josh Carnes back on the national team after this competition.
Totally agree. June EY now going on for that vault for his last event of the year. Jeez, Christian.
I would certainly hope not.
Knock on wood, Christian. What am I doing, man? June's got one of the best 2.5s that I've ever seen. That one I'm serious about.
It is, and that's high praise from you, who does have the best 2.5 I've ever seen. Gorgeous.
I'm not gonna lie, Christian. That one I think's got even mine.
Really?
Yep.
I really like his vault, man. It's just done technically so well. You can see he's very conscious about every part of the vault, you know, from board to table, on the table, and then table to air, and then in the air, and then landing. And to be so mentally present throughout the entirety of such a quick skill, I think is extremely impressive.
Joel Moldauer, a 2017 world bronze medalist on the floor. You know, he unfortunately hasn't been able to really stay as present on the floor as maybe some people expected after getting that first world championship medal. However, reminder, this is his first major competition back after 18 years. 18 months. Christian, I'm worm vomiting all over the place.
Man.
Help me out here.
All right, we're just a little tired. This is a new routine for Joel, right? That first combination that we saw the unfortunate fall on, that was full double front, and that is not typically in his floor routine, right? And neither is that double layout skill, a skill that he has added because it is in the meta. And the great breakdancing element out of his flares. Joel's another one. He's just got a swag to him, man.
100% agree. Even when I was growing up as a little junior guy, I wanted to be like Joel, and I still want to be like Joel.
Like half of gymnastics is for the cloud, anyways. And
all of gymnastics is for the cloud,
honestly,
Christian.
it's for the likes on Instagram and TikTok. But Joel makes this look good, man.
Christian, I'm gonna take you back to 2015, 2016, black and white. Instagram edits, music, EDM. Man, chat, can we bring that back?
I love the old school edit style. That being said, before I forget, we saw Joel dismount with a triple full there, which he stuck, which is nice, right?
Sure.
So he'll get the D for that, and
sure.
he'll get the stick bonus. But he also only gets 3 times for the element group value because this code, you have to dismount with a double flip.
I'm curious to know if that was a conscious decision, if that was a that was a known decision right there.
It could be an endurance thing. I mean, we've been seeing you'll dismount with triple full for years, back when it was allowed, right? And so, who knows? At some point, I would not be surprised if we saw him bring back the double Arabian half out, because when he competed that, he stuck it just about every gosh darn time.
He does one of the best Arabian double half out.
It's so pretty. The timing's gorgeous, elevation's fantastic, and then he just finds that landing like it was what he was meant to do, like it's his job. All right, we got Fuzzy working on high bar
talk
here.
about light athletes that just fly.
Huge.
Man, he lives life on the edge.
And you would not know from watching this man's shoulder is barely attached to his body.
He's got a hand that's half functioning, but he makes it work. I mean, what a freak accident going. Oh,
he goes with it.
I mean, one of those guys that the story is so great. You know, just unfortunate circumstances back to back to back, and this is just him putting it all on the line. I really like that late twisting double-double.
It's gorgeous. I don't know that it's necessarily, like, if you're going for stick percentage, I'm not sure it's the easiest to stick consistently. But it does look pretty to see an athlete release the bar, sit up, and then conscientiously wrap that twist. We got David Chamon here. Huge chance for double front, which he does land. It's low. He'll duck for that. So we'll see where that places him on the leaderboard. But I'd be surprised if he wasn't on the podium after today.
Nice vault from Kai there. And that vault from June again. I mean, this is one of the best 2.5s in the competition, let alone in the country.
Those feet just glued together.
But I think his teammate actually today, Cooper, had an even better 2.5. Rock solid pre-flight.
And look at that stick.
Gosh. Love to see great 2.5s. You know, actually a great comment here from 555 Lovelace. Frederick, Brody, Shane, Yule, Coy, Danila, Asher, Donnell, Riley, maybe Steven, all these guys, people that they'd love to see for 2028. And Brett kind of alluded to that. I'd love to please see every single guy in the team. Actually, I'm going to share with the chat a really cool piece of advice that I shared with the entire national team going into the May training camp before 2024 Olympic trials. It just came over me. I don't know why I said it, but I said it in the moment. And I said, guys, no wonder that the entire selection committee would want to take all of us, but they can't. They can only take 5 of us. Unfortunately, not everyone gets to say that they're an Olympian. However, if we all, for the next few months, dedicate ourselves to put every single little piece of effort into this competition, then they're going to select the best possible team, and the team that goes there has the best chance at the medal. And now not everybody gets to say that they have that medal and they were a part of that experience. At least they could say, though, that they pushed the guys that made it.
And that's a great attitude to have, right? Building that camaraderie, we've seen time and time again throughout the day, just emphasized by the leadership in USAG, that building this Team USA as an actual team, almost in a collegiate sense, has been just imperative for the development of elite men's gymnastics.
And I think that's a direct result from the college experience that so many of these guys have had. They know what it's like to compete for their brothers. They know what it's like to compete not just for their last name, but for that emblem, that mark, that symbol on their chest. And let me tell you, Christian, there's nothing more powerful than a US of A flag on your chest.
Oh, I can only imagine. And before I forget real quick, Cooper, you were speaking my language. I need Dan to bring back Sam Dan hours so bad.
Oh, no.
I told Paul I would mention it last week. I'm not sure if you thought I was joking. There's an awesome 2018 Paul Judah Winter Cup edit on Sad Dan
USA
hours.
Championships.
Oh, USA Championships, and you guys got to go watch that real quick, please.
Chat, somebody find it and throw it in the chat. That was probably my worst competition to date. You know, talk about humbling.
The best part of it all is like the Instagram caption of like work to eat overlaid with like Piano Man. All right, so we got to focus on Taylor Christopoulos, who's working on parallel bars here.
You know, I have to shout out my boy Solon Chiotti right here. Hey, Paul, huge fan. How does it feel to have so much aura in your everyday life? Solon, I needed that pick-me-up after what Christian just did. Talked about my most least aura moment in my life.
To be fair, I preemptively apologized, so...
Check out this great routine from Daniela. I mean, this is one of those routines that I love watching. He's about to extend into flares that, Christian, you talked about being open in a complete middle split. comboing it? Almost.
It's got to help stabilize him so well as he swings through this. I was never flexible enough to be able to flare through a full middle split like that.
He just did a Driggs in a flare.
Which, does that even upgrade anymore?
I don't know, but he just did a 1-5 Magyar.
Bummer, man.
You know, unfortunately, Christian, I actually had the chance to compete that dismount one time in my life. It was at one competition. I did it at the U.S. Championships in 2023. That was actually the year that we had spoken about earlier in the day about not being ready for that big moment. And maybe I can actually share that with the crowd, that kind of feeling. But that backwards kier on pommel horse in a flare over the leather, there is nothing harder than doing that at the end of a set.
It's very tricky to, like, just in a vacuum, convert all of your horizontal momentum directly upside down. And when you add that turning under keyering action,
sure,
right, or I guess more accurately, stalky
action,
sure, it adds another, like, you know, vertice that you're like, or like axis, I guess is a better term, that you're turning on, and it's very difficult to control.
And by the way, you're only on about a 6-inch wide pommel horse. It's not like you can place your hand anywhere.
Correct. And so we saw, we saw Tate come off the high bar there after his Coleman, which is great high bar work.
You know, and I think I just want to give the fans a little bit of an appreciation for one of my favorite moments in my life. It was the Olympic Games. We're going up to the last event, and it was pommel horse. Christian, we know we're 15 for 15. The entire crowd is chanting USA. They're not chanting China. They're not chanting Japan. They're saying USA, USA, in Paris, in France, in that arena. And all I can think to myself is, this is that moment. You know, this is that moment that you dream of as a kid. Am I going to come up to this stage? I'm up first. My legs are done. We just completed floor, and there's nothing like a floor routine at the Olympic Games. My heart's pounding. Next thing I know, Asher Hong, one athlete that's not here today but was a part of that 2024 Olympic effort, comes up to me, gives me a big hug, and says, Paul, I can see you're a little nervous. The team's got you. I believe in you. And there was that big contention of who's going to be on that pommel horse spot. And Asher comes up and embraces me and says, I believe in you. The whole country believes in you. We've got your back. Man, it's like whoosh. The pressure went away. I got up onto that podium, and I thought, I can do this now. Unfortunately, Christian, right when you get on the podium, it kind of shoots right back up. But I knew that the people had my back. My entire head kind of blacks out. I don't really remember what happened. And next thing I know, I'm looking down at the podium crying, knowing I just hit a routine for my country. I mean, one of those moments that I'll relive in my head for the rest of my life. Cannot wait to see what this is going to look like in LA 2028.
Gymnastics is a bit of a gentleman's sport in that, yes, you're competing directly against these athletes, but there's such a mutual respect for the sport and just how difficult it is and what these athletes are doing that, yeah, we're competing directly against Asher for that spot-on lineup, but at the same time, you were competing with him for Team USA, right? And he held no grudge against you for that, and in fact encouraged you to do well. And that is not something you find in a lot of other sports, right? Yep. They are looking for that opportunity to really claw themselves ahead.
Sure.
You know, regardless of how that might affect you or other athletes. And the way in gymnastics that we are able to really put our egos aside and, contribute to a bigger picture is something I find immensely
motivating.
Like, admirable. Motivating.
Yeah.
Just everyone wants everyone to do the best. And that's part of what kept me in the sport so long, just having so many people who are directly involved and invested in my betterment.
Funny enough, I think that's really the reason that the USA has climbed back up to the top of the podium and been on that podium, that team camaraderie. Fans, thank you so much for an incredible Senior Winter Cup session. I mean, Christian, I had a blast.
Oh, this was fantastic.
Thank you so much, fans, and we should be having our all-around champion joining us in just a few minutes. Hang on and be right back.
Come see Gymnastics' biggest stars at the 2026 Xfinity U.S. Gymnastics Championships at the Mortgage Matchup Center in Phoenix. Cheer on Olympic medalists and the next generation of USA Gymnastics stars as they rise to the challenge and vie for national titles. Tickets on sale now. Visit XfinityChampionships.com for more information. Don't miss any of the action at the 2026 Xfinity U.S. Gymnastics Championships.
Earth, from the horizontal comforts of your couch, is merely dirt and sticks and moss and bugs and stuff. But when you're double backflipping off a backcountry cliff or hallucinating on 1 million micrograms of exhaustion, you might just see Earth as a world of endless attractions. Welcome to the... Hello? Excuse me, I was still talking. Anyway, welcome to the world of... all conditions gear!
Sonia and Gerald trust Prevagen for their brains, and this is their story.
I'm Sonia.
And I'm Gerald, and we live in Jacksonville, Florida.
We are both military veterans, and we provide dental care for underserved communities. We have a very busy life.
We take Prevagen for our brains.
I would honestly say I like the way that Prevagen makes me feel. At the end of the day, I feel confident and amazing.
Prevagen has been the #1 selling brain supplement nationwide for over 10 years.
Helium Malanin showing beautiful control. He's clearly a crowd favorite.
The most reliable Wi-Fi at one price for 5 years. Guaranteed. Xfinity. Imagine that.
To succeed in gymnastics, it takes strength, determination, dedication, and it takes you. The USA Gymnastics Foundation raises funds to empower athletes at all levels and disciplines of our sport and to enrich communities for all-around success. Give to the USA Gymnastics Foundation today because their success starts with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a competition we had, and what a treat we have to have our all-around champion, Fred Richard, here with us in the booth. Give it up for Fred, everybody. Chat, W's in the chat. Fred.
Man, I heard you said I wasn't going to win all-around today. I can't believe it.
Fred, I'm sorry. It completely my fault. Did not mean to say anything like that. Fred, you shocked the world. You took a week off in Italy. First of all, tell us about that, and then tell us about how you managed to come back in such good shape and win this competition.
I think this is a product of not slacking in Italy. I guess I went to Italy to the Winter Olympics. I thought it was an important moment to not miss.
Sure.
Seeing other U.S. athletes go for medals, bring home Olympic medals, I knew it would be motivating, and it was.
Yeah.
But I made sure I trained in Italy. I went to a national-owned gym, like that their Olympians train at.
Sure.
I trained there basically every single day in Italy. So I did the routines, which is way harder in Italy.
I'm
They're
sure.
a little out of shape.
Sure.
In the U.S. So I feel like that prepped me to just handle this when I'm actually more in shape and comfortable.
Fred, you didn't have your food there. What'd you do for food?
Food, Italian food's a little different than U.S. food. It was working. I think it gave me extra strength. The Italian pastas, the chicken over there, everything was just hitting. And I guess it worked. I got to go to Italy before all my big competitions.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, Christian, you were the one who called me out earlier in the stream. Tell me what you loved about Fred's performance today.
Fred, generally, I like the confidence that you compete with. I think it's super easy to let the pressure get to you, whether or not the meet's going well, whether or not you have a strong event or weak event, or who's on the field. Those are factors that are so easy to get in your head. And I find that time and time again, you are pretty willing to shake it off and just move forward. And so, yeah, we had the factors going on in that you needed to remake national team. You were in Italy for a week, and you wore your own uniform today, right? Which is exactly 3-10 deduction, right? And these are all factors that would generally tilt someone, right? These are put you a little on your back foot. And you showed up today, and we did not really see any of that. You competed like you've been doing it all day, every day, you know.
Yeah. I feel like this is, again, also just a byproduct of time. People don't realize last year I came here with the uniform, fell 5 times across 2 days.
Sure.
But I learned from it. I went back to the gym, and I just trained with intention this year to really peak and look good for the moment. And I just know it's like a part of the process. You know, I have more years after me. I'm not going to let it beat me up. I'm going to just keep going. I still have a whole season ahead of me, and it's working so far, so I'm just trusting the process.
Fred, we got to give you a little bit of critique.
Okay.
You said you'd make up that 3/10 uniform deduction.
I kind of almost did.
2 sticks.
I got 2 sticks
instead of 3.
P-bar, rings. Oh, you said I need 3 sticks.
Well, you need 3 for the 3/10 neutral.
No, 1 stick is a 3/10 swing because you don't have a 3/10 step.
I don't know. That's fake math.
That's a 3/10 swing.
That's got to be gymnast math, Christian.
Yeah, no, that is.
Is that the kind of math class that you were in?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I was top of the class. But
I guess next time I'm going to have to just stick 3 then.
You know, Fred, I think Christian gave me some great insight today about the power of potentially having a uniform like that. Every young gymnast wants our signatures. What would it be like to be having a crowd of sea of gymnasts wearing your jersey to sign?
I think it's powerful. I think we see it in all the biggest sports, the basketball, football, soccer. Hockey. It's time our sport has it. Hockey.
Sure.
I think we're going this direction. And the thing is, I'm arguing for the uniform, the rules to just change and open up more uniforms.
Sure.
So it's not like I'm saying you have to wear my uniform.
Exactly.
I'm just arguing,
let's change
why not open the rules up and let Fred wear this? It's not hurting my gymnastics. Judges can judge me normally.
Yeah.
And just make the parameters a little bigger so we can have our own jerseys, can be comfortable with our style, and I literally see no negative side to it.
Hey, Fred, I think we're going to have to let you get onto those podium because I think you know what's coming your way. A lot of hardware.
Yeah.
Remaking the national team. We need 2 things from you, though.
Yep.
2 hot takes
for
the rest of the year. Give me some Fred predictions.
Oh, real hot takes. Okay, we're going to start with the NCAA hot take.
All right, tell me.
Michigan in first place. Stanford second. OU third. That's the hot take. I know the other 2 teams are going to be mad about that. That's my first hot take.
You got to believe. You got to believe. That's take number 1. Give me a take number 2. And I think let's keep it to the World Championships. I know you've got your eyes out there.
Okay, I'm going to be coming in hot for this. Oh, you mean like World Championship team or results at World Championships?
Any hot take you got.
I'm going to say hot take. Fred wins World Championships this year.
Wow. You heard it here. Chat. USA Gymnastics, everybody. We had a great hot take. And would you say, Fred, that motivates you to say that?
It definitely motivates me. I still know my gymnastics is not there yet. I have more difficulty to add to be ready. But I think I have the mindset. I think I'm willing to do the work. And I'm going to go for it this year. If not this year, the next year. It's going to happen eventually. I will be a world champion eventually, hopefully. So
I love it. Hey, Fred, thank you so much. Congratulations on the win. I'll never speak bad about
All right,
you
Paul,
again. Come on. And I'm really excited to watch you continue your career this year. And hopefully you lead Michigan to that NCAA championship again. I'm not biased or anything.
Yeah.
Thanks, Fred. Go get those medals.
Thank you, boys. Peace out.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are your leaderboards. We thank you so much for being a part of this incredible competition. We thank you, Christian, for joining me on this great journey of commentating, and we can't wait for the next one.
Oh, no, it was truly my pleasure. I'm so glad I could have been here and with you all. Thank you so much for your support and for sticking with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was the 2026 Winter Cup. What a phenomenal competition. What a phenomenal evening. And we'll see you soon. But before that, some final thoughts. Christian, what did you think in general about just what we saw today? What does this kind of give us a little bit of a precursor for what we're going to see come August for the U.S. Championships?
Yeah, I think we've got some bright spots in that. I think on parallel bars I think we have a depth of very talented V-bar workers, and that's good. That being said, I think we need to see some more consistency from our pommel horse workers and high bar as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to start the all-around awards and all the event awards, so thank you so much for joining us, and stay in tune and listen to all those awards. All right, guys. Thank you so much, chat. Have a great evening.
Bye.
Senior men's competition. We begin tonight's ceremony with the presentation of awards on floor exercise. In third place, winning the bronze medal from Stanford University, Riley Luce. In second place, winning the silver medal from University of Michigan, Charlie Larson. In first place, the 2026 Winter Cup Senior Men's Floor Champion, winning the gold medal from University of Michigan, Frederick Richard. There they are, your 2026 Winter Cup floor exercise medalists. We continue the award ceremony with the presentation of awards for Pommel Horse. In third place, earning the bronze medal from University of Michigan, Frederick Richard. In second place, winning the silver medal from University of Illinois, Preston Nye. In first place, the 2026 Winter Cup Senior Men's Pommel Horse Champion, winning the gold medal from Ohio State University, Parker Thaxton. Your 2026 Winter Cup Pommel Horse medalists. And now for the award ceremony for still rings. In third place, winning the bronze medal from University of Michigan, Frederick Richard. In second place, winning the silver medal from 50-80 Gymnastics, Yul Moldauer. In first place, the 2026 Winter Cup Senior Men's Rings Champion, winning the gold medal for University of Nebraska-Lincoln, Christopher Heiser. There they are, your 2026 Winter Cup Still Rings medalists. And now we welcome our Vault Award winners. In third place, earning the bronze medal from Evo Gymnastics, Jackson Harrison. In second place, winning the silver medal from University of Oklahoma, Sasha Boganosio. In first place, the 2026 Winter Cup Senior Men's Vault Champion, winning the gold medal from University of Illinois, Garrett Schooley. Here they are, your 2026 Winter Cup Vault medalists. And now, please welcome our Parallel Bars Awards winners. In third place, earning the bronze medal from Evo Gymnastics, Joshua Carnes. In second place, winning the silver medal from Stanford University, David Shama. In first place, the 2026 Winter Cup Senior Men's Parallel Bars Champion, winning the gold medal for 50-80 Gymnastics, Yul Moldauer. There they are, your 2026 Winter Cup Parallel Bars medalists. And now, please welcome the horizontal bar award winners. In third place on high bar, winning the bronze medal from University of Michigan, Frederick Richard. In second place, winning the silver medal from University of Michigan, Crew Bowl. In first place, the 2026 Winter Cup Senior Men's High Bar Champion, winning the gold medal from Evo Gymnastics, Danila Lakin. Here they are, your 2026 Winter Cup Horizontal Bar medalists. And now, we continue the award ceremony with the presentation of the awards in the all-around competition. Finishing in sixth place for University of Nebraska-Lincoln, Taylor Christopoulos. In fifth place from University of Illinois, Preston Nye. In fourth place, from Ohio State University, Jesse Lee Pichelli. In third place, from Stanford University, David Shama. Finishing in second place, from 50-80 Gymnastics, Yul Moldauer. In first place, the 2026 Winter Cup Senior Men's All-Around Champion for University of Michigan, Frederick Richard. Here they are, your 2026 Winter Cup All-Around honorees. Gymnastics fans, we are just moments away from the naming of the first members of the 2026 USA Senior Men's National Team, so stick around. And now, for the first time this year, we name the members of the 2026 USA Senior Men's National Team. After tonight's competition, please welcome Frederick Richard. Yul Moldauer. Riley Luce. And Joshua Carr. Not here this evening, but joining the current senior national team will be Brody Malone, Danelle Wittenberg, Asher Hahn, Cameron Nelson, Brandon Dang, Patrick Hoops, Taylor Burkhart, and Dante Reed. And gymnastics fans, the remaining senior national team and senior development team athletes will be named by the senior selection committee later this evening. One more time, let's hear it for your Team USA Men's Senior National Team. Many thanks to all of the athletes who competed here at the 2026 Winter Cup at the Kentucky International Convention Center in Louisville, Kentucky, USA, and congratulations to all the awards winners. Gymnastics fans, great thanks for joining us and bringing the roar to Kentucky International Convention Center today. We hope that you can join us for women's competition tomorrow. Thank you for your support of USA Gymnastics.